trolls.
CoCo CoCoTALK in the chat. CoCoTALK. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely loading by cassette today.
I think there's an IO error or something, or is it an FM error or something?
Have you tried Skype? Hey, we got a stream on YouTube.
Hey, here we go.
Definitely loading by cassette today. I think it's an IO error or something.
Somebody needs to mute the show if they've got it open, because I can hear that.
I just did live in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay,
all right, so we'll wait for Rob Inman to mute his feed. Hopefully the technical difficulties are behind us. We've got a well, let's put it this way. We got something. I am not sure what we've got in store for you tonight, but it'll be something. On that note, cue intro music and let the train wreck begin.
Hi, this is Dale Lee, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 101 of CoCoTALK, America's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks, and it's time to rock, boys and girls. Are you ready?
Keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, and we're here.
Smooth as butter.
We're back.
Poor Retro Innovations. He was
Smooth
having
as
such a
butter.
good evening.
He was having a good evening. Well, here's how we're gonna make your evening even better. If the introduction to this show, besides being 20 minutes late, and starting off with a rockin' new tune by D. Bruce Moore, if that wasn't good enough, but wait, there's more. I got to have more cowbell. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Nick Marotta on the ukulele.
Look, I'm scared. I'm frozen.
You are watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly video podcast, featuring the Tandy Color Computer. We spread the love to the past, present, and future for all models, including the original color computer, the CoCo 3, and the world-renowned exclusive French-Canadian CoCoTALK, the radio show.
The Radio Shack. All right, there we go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Gotta have more ukulele. That's it now. No more cowbell.
Yeah.
We gotta have more uke. Right? So we are here after a rough start with some technical difficulties and a week off. And God knows what else. We got a great panel. Well, we've got a panel anyways. Well, the greatness is to be determined. We've got our resident Apple guy and cat hoarder, Mark D. Overholzers, with us. Meow.
Hey there.
All right. Hey, Mark. Speaking of Mark, we've got another Mark. We got Mark
Hello.
Bosley. Welcome, Mark. We've got Rob Inman with us this evening. Hello, Rob.
Stevie. I hope to lower the SteveCon level shortly.
From down under, Nicholas Marentes' stunt double. We have to have a resident Australian on the show. So David O'Connor's with us. Welcome back, David.
Thanks,
for
Stevie.
being here.
Welcome, 8-bit world.
Brian Wieseler's in the house, the guy who just can't stop buying.
Hello, all.
All right. We have the master of the four-stringed wonder, another fellow Canadian, substituting for Curtis Boyle this week. Our resident Canadian will be Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. Hey, it's going beauty, eh?
Hey. Hoser.
Hey. And what can we say? He likes Star Trek. He's been deported. He lives in Uruguay. It's Diego. How are you, Diego? We have special guest I think first time on the show. Terry, have you been on the show before? All right, and is it Steege?
It's
the long E
sound?
Gotta
love Germans.
Steggy.
Terry, you're supposed to say long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, yes, there you go.
Yeah. All right, Terry. Thanks for being here. Brian, the music man, the Shoebring is with us.
Hello,
Brian.
hello. 8-bit and more.
And more. We have to have that 9th bit for parody. Vice President of Glenside Color Computer Club, Tony Pedraza is with us. Good evening, Tony.
Boo. Crickets.
Okay, I think he flashed us for a second there with this camera. Yeah, I saw a green hat. Hello, Tony.
Good day.
There we go. All right, lovely hat there. Last but certainly not least, look at that Pop Star Pilot T-shirt. I like that. Like representing. Looking good. From New Jersey, it's Al Hartman. How you doing, Al? He's doing that good. All right, and we had Tom C on a little while ago. I don't know where Tom C went. Tom was going to probably have to bail us out here when I couldn't get my software going. We've had in the live chat Mark B, Mark Overholzer, Rob Inman, Ken Reichert, Al Hartman. Al, are you here? All right, from Jersey, Al Hartman's here. Tom C was in the live chat. Ken Reichert's in the live chat. Tom C.
Retro.
And who else? Tom C. Nick Marotta, Mark Overholzer, Tom C. Nick Marotta, Ken Reichert, Rob Inman, Ken Reichert. Yeah, we got a lot of people in the live chat. Nick Marotta. Anyways, Tim Franklin is there. Hey, Tim. Dragon Bites is out there. Hey, Dragon Bites. Retro Innovations is here. Yeah, so we got a packed house in the live chat. We got a packed house here in the panel. We're playing Makeup from our lost episode from last week. And we're here. No idea what we're going to talk about, but that's never stopped us before. Probably something to do with the CoCo. I know we're going to probably hear a little bit from Mark D. Overholzer on his visit to Pacific Northwest. Was it Midwest, Northwest? What direction were you last week?
Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. And is that it's VCF Pacific Northwest? Yep. Okay.
Seattle, Washington.
In Seattle. And you ran into some of our partners in crime there. Was Tim?
Tim. No.
Tim Lindner?
No, he's
Tim
from
Lindner
the Bay Area. No,
okay.
Actually, Scott Went.
Okay.
Stopped and talked.
Scott Went. Okay.
Yep.
That's more in his ballpark.
And there were 3 or 4 other CoCo people I ran into. I didn't get all their names written down. I'm bad with names. But there was 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
That are CoCo faithful, plus a few Apple people I know. So,
okay, there's no accounting for taste.
Yeah,
but
well,
that's okay.
You know.
All right. So, and we got a greetings from Sean S. Russell in Facebook. Hello, Sean. Excellent. So we'll hopefully hear from that. I know Brian Wieseler has an update for us, but before we get to Brian, Tony Pedraza, do you have any updates for us on what's going on in Glenside and CoCoFEST? Anything new and exciting to be aware of, or just as usual?
Just getting ready, actually. I've been kind of sidelined this week.
Okay.
Had knee surgery last Thursday. Nothing major, but wasn't able to do a whole lot of getting around. And now I've got a surgical boot to try to take care of a toe problem. So you would think that I would have had a lot of time to spend on the computer, but I was supposed to keep the leg up and elevated, so kind of been immobile. In spite of the fact that the newsletter was released early this week, late last week, There's not been a lot of people either reading the newsletter who are not already coming, or nobody's been hitting the net and doing any more advanced registering or getting tickets or anything. So we're kind of stagnant with right now with about 62, 63 expected attendees, exhibitors, and other people alike.
Okay. Hey, Tony, I was having some problems with the Tandy List website and resetting my password, and I was never getting the email, and it was not showing up in my spam. And then I just kind of worked around it, but I was not able to log in there. So I don't know if that's an actual thing or it's just something that I was having trouble with.
I'll pass that on to Mr. Weaver, who's the administrator of Tandy List, and have him take a look at it.
Yeah, just in case.
I think Randy's on Facebook too, so if you look for Randy Weaver in the CoCo group, you might be able to send him a message.
He's there as well.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Because this is kind of the first year that officially people can pre-register, so maybe people just aren't used to it. So is it safe to assume the people that have pre-registered are mostly out of town and not the locals? Like maybe the locals just figure we'll be there, we don't need to register? Or
that may be in the back of a lot of their minds, but it would be encouraged for anybody who's aware of it and has the access to go ahead and do the pre-registration. We are certainly hoping that it will help speed up passing the people through.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll do our best to try to get the word out there, let everybody know. Yeah, it's kind of like RSVP. When you send out those things, I saw one recently that said, by the way, if you don't let us know by 5 p.m. on this date if you're coming or not, plan on bringing your own food, because you almost have to spell it out sometimes for people. That's like, we need to know, we need a head count. This is, nobody's going to assume. We need to know how much food to bring. We need to know how many chairs to put at the table. That's why we do these things, people.
Really?
We're trying. Speaking of assuming, we have, a lot of celebrity guests that we've had on the show. And then Greg Zumwalt's been on the CoCo Crew podcast. Do all of these celebrity guest stars know that CoCoFEST is coming up? And I mean, we assume they do, but in case they wanted to go and speak and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that Greg Zumwalt recently spoke to the CoCo Crew guys. I'm sure they would have plugged CoCoFEST. I would imagine that it would have been hard for them not to say, hey, by the way, there's a CoCoFEST, you should come. We'll have to wait for the interview to see. But so I can't speak for.
Did we ask Marty? I don't think we brought up CoCoFEST to Marty Goodwin, or did we? Frank Hogg, all those people.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't remember.
Just want everyone to be.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. That's definitely a good question. So we got to get the word out that if you are planning on attending and you have not kind of registered the fact that you are attending, we would like to be able to have your voices heard and have your face counted, right? So we can have a good idea on how many people to expect there. I have a feeling that there's still going to be a good turnout, but it would be nice if we knew in advance, more closely what that was going to be like. So. Be that as may. Brian, the Music Man Shoebring, anything new and exciting with you?
Not a whole lot, just moving things along and that. And looks like I'm already got my speakers all ready to roll.
All right. I looked at the floor plan. So it looks like they got the floor plan laid out pretty nicely. So, yeah, it's looking good. Definitely looking good. Excellent. All right, well, we definitely got to a late start, and I do apologize for that. At the last minute, my broadcast software, it did an update today, and in trying to go live, literally at the last minute, I realized a lot of things weren't working, so some tweaks and hammers and reboots were in order, and I think I got my software fixed. And if anybody is not aware, we didn't have a show last week at all. So probably worth just talking about that for just a minute. And, you know, unfortunately, we do have this situation where there's a big dependency right now. What is going on there? Rob Inman, where are you dining right now with the Three Muggeteers?
Didn't mean to distract you.
You are. So is that David Ladd in the background there? All right. That's a new Three Muggeteers. We got to update the BIOS to get those guys in the CoCo 3.
Sorry, you were saying.
Curtis Grant and David Ladd. Yeah. So I kind of literally at the last minute last week, I was just worn out and I was just kind of too tired to do it. And again, at the last minute, I was like, man, can anybody else help me out streaming? And unfortunately, we only have maybe 1.5 options. Grant we have, but Grant's been really preoccupied. Tom is a good backup, but Tom was indisposed, and so we couldn't get a backup, and I just was not physically and mentally able to do it. So it was really last minute, and unfortunately we didn't have the show. So what I do want to make sure we have from this, some of the takeaways that we have learned, and you know, is that number one, I want to make sure that for those of us who are on the show, if we're somewhat regular, either viewing, especially if you're on the panel, try to check in with the Discord CoCoTALK lobby channel a few times during the week and check in a few times during the day. Now, I had posted a few times earlier today saying, hey, is anybody around to do a test? Just to give you an idea. So we want to make sure you guys are checking Discord, because this is kind of how we communicate throughout the week is through that Discord CoCoTALK channel. The other thing is, which we are working on, I'm very glad we'll hopefully have these guys lined up soon, but we're going to hopefully have multiple backup sources to broadcast the show for us. So I need to acknowledge too that Richard Lorbieski had offered a while ago, and I completely forgot he offered, and I obviously, because I forgot he offered, I never reached out to him to set him up, but I did set up Tom. We are now working on setting up Rob Inman. We have a few more people that have offered. Matter of fact, I think they're all in the panel right now. So I think Mark Bosley has offered to help. I think Brian Wieseler has offered to help. Terry, is it Steege or Steege? Now, Steege? How do you say your name again, Terry? Okay, so I'm going to just to help me remember this, is going to be kind of like Stegosaurus. All right, Terry Steege. Steege. I got to find a way to remember that. Terry Steege. So Terry's going to try to help us. And it sounds like Terry's got a pretty nice computer setup going on there with bandwidth and hardware and screens and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, she's right there.
And right now, the CoCo and the CM8. Yes, very good. Good answer. So, so what we're looking for is, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create some backups, so we don't have any more unplanned downtime. We'll have a couple of sources for that, and I think that'll be good. That'll just make sure that we can always have a show if it's not going to be dependent on any one single point of failure, which is good. So I want to thank everybody who's volunteered to help, and hopefully that's going to help us make sure this train keeps staying on the tracks. So that's all I have to say about that. Do we want to now get into some of our updates? Brian, would you like to show us your latest haul of what you've got? You mentioned you got some goodies for us.
Yeah, well, some of them are some recent books that I found and bought that I didn't have, and some of them some books that I have had. I thought I would just at least share with the group. First thing I'd like to do, though, there was a gentleman out there. He had posted. His name was Mark Hammelmeyer, and he had Rainbow and the Rainbow magazine, the Color Computer magazine, and Hot CoCo. And he actually had all of the Hot CoCos and all of the Computer magazine and all of the Rainbow except for the first 9 months. And he was looking for a home for them. I reached out to him, and for just a little bit of shipping, you can kind of see him over my shoulder here, but that's all the Rainbows. Wow. And then up here is all the Hot CoCo and Computer magazine. So that was kind of nice. I mean, wow. I know it's available, online and PDF form, but I still like my paper, I guess. But
You know what it is? That's how I look at it. The Rainbow magazine is kind of like a classic Playboy magazine. There's just nothing like, you know, folding the pages, looking at the glossies, opening up the centerfolds, all that kind of stuff.
What were you doing with Rainbow?
Man, if I tell you what I did with Miss May from the Rainbow magazine, so there is something nice. Like even now, when it comes to reading, I like to read on paper. I'm not big on reading on screens. So I definitely get you when you want to read a book or read a magazine. There's something nice, the tactileness.
Just kind of thumb through it and read through it and everything.
In your hands.
So I have some of the quite a few of the rainbows myself. So I need to go through my box and kind of compare what he sent and see if I can't fill in some of the blank there. But like I said, for the rainbow, it's just that the first 8 issues, and that'll be a complete set. So that was kind of nice.
Those were the ones that were on paper too, like they were like line printed or whatever.
Okay.
First handful of them. I think the first handful of rainbows were like done on a line printer.
Were they?
Like photocopy.
So yeah, I'll have to look at that. One thing that is kind of interesting, you can kind of the early issues of the magazine. I mean, they were nearly a half an inch thick, and then of course as the things went on in the magazine, the CoCo went through its changes and stuff like that. You can see how it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. I mean, where the first part right here, I can barely get a full year into one of those magazine things here, where it got to the other end here, and I about got a year and a half all in one. So I mean, it's just
got very sad.
Yeah,
that was kind of interesting. Yes, it was. Yep. So, but we're bringing it back a little bit. So, right, Mark? Working on that. So, but yeah, I found some books that I thought were kind of interesting, and some of them, the ones that I had here, I thought I would kind of share to see if anybody has them, or maybe it might bring up some memories for folks. But this was a neat little book that I found. It's kind of small, but it's this handbook. And what's kind of cool about it is it has like every command in it. And if you guys can, if that makes out or not, but it's for the TRSA Model 1, Model 2, Model 3, the MC10, and the color computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has every command.
Wow.
But then it kind of will tell you it'll tell you what the command is and what it's used for and what systems it applies to. So it's just kind of a quick little reference book. I thought was kind of a fun little one.
That's cool.
Everybody's ever seen that one before.
It includes color computer, or is it Model 1?
Yep, it has all of them in there. It has the model. Yep, it has
even
the
MC10.
Yeah, MC10, Model 1, Model 2, 3, 4, and the color computer. So yeah, it was kind of a neat one. And that was one that was put out by William Barden Jr.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, is that mostly basic?
It is all
commands?
just basic commands. Yep. It's for just basic. Mm-hmm.
So basically telling you the basic command syntax, how it's applied to the various systems.
Yeah, if there's a way you can get that scanned to the archive, that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be kind of it's gonna be a tough one. It's a rather small book here. I mean, you can kind of see it. It's just maybe 4 by 2.5.
It's like a little handbook.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can honestly say I've never seen that before, and that looks pretty cool.
It was put out
That's
by
a
Radio
nice
Shack. Here's one that was kind of fun. It was just kind of it's again kind of along the kids theory. It was basic fun, and this one here is just some little games. Again, some not very long programs. Some of them are maybe 20 to 100 lines long, but it has like just different games that have like puzzle games and learning games, just simple little problem solving games. So just a fun little one. I just like thumbing through those just to kind of see some of the games that are in there, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like the haircuts. I like that nice 80s bowl haircut the kid has on there. That's pretty sweet. Very punky.
This is
Brewster.
one that I've actually had since my college years back in 1990. I actually used my color computer for my my project. I actually made an interface to control stepper motors, and I made a very crude robotic arm that I controlled. And I need to dig that thing out and see if it still works or not. I still have it. But this was a book that I kind of used, and I thought I would just share this one. I think this one's been out there before, but it's this it's the computer interfacing projects. Nice. And it kind of breaks down all the different ports on the computer and their signals, and just explains how to interface things to the in this case here again it's the Model 1 and 3 and the color computer. So I've had that one for quite a while.
Is that book on the archive? Do you know, or is it?
I don't know if it is or not. It is a William Barden book again, and I think a lot of his books he doesn't like to see out there, if I remember right. Is it
archive.org?
I'll have to check and see. But yeah.
It'd be good to be able to get a copy of that one.
I
do see it out there this one does pop up on eBay from time to time. Here's another one that was kind of a fun little one that I just recently bought here. It's the Color Computer Songbook, and it's basics, but it has 40 songs in there. You know, like William Tell, and I'm just trying to see here what some of them that are jumping out at me, but Beethoven and Jingle Bells and just a whole bunch of little songs there that you can kind of type right into BASIC there. So it's kind of a fun one.
They're not really useful for games or anything. They're mostly domain songs, and they're not very popular. Only a few of them are kind of popular. But it's good for kids who want to learn how to write music on the CoCo. I mean, you can take the songs and mess with them. And
is it mostly using play commands or sound commands or a bit of both?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Yeah, is it play or sound?
As I thumb through here, it's almost all just the play command.
Okay, so that would require extended BASIC, but at least that gives you more control over the notes and the octaves and things like that. So,
and then like a lot of us here, I think we're that don't know assembly. That is one of my bucket list items, is to try to teach myself assembly. So I've been trying to grab onto some different books. This is one that I'd never seen before. It's a book. It's assembly language programming, and it's not specific to the CoCo, but it is specific to the 6809. And it's assembly language. And
Lance Leventhal. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that one is in the archive.
You have that one?
I think I have that one.
So again,
just digital.
What's that?
But I don't. Yeah.
Digital.
I have a digital copy of that one. I've got a bunch of 6809 digital books.
Yep. So that was kind of an interesting one.
Yeah.
And then this one here was actually posted or listed with a computer. And I reached out to the seller and I asked if he'd be interested in selling just the book. And so he did pull the listing down and repost it minus the book and sold this to me directly. So it was kind of nice to get this one here. This assembly language graphics.
Assembly language graphics. Don Inman and Kurt Inman. That is super duper rare. That is something I've been wanting for a while, and I would love to get that electronic. Yeah, Curtis has been talking about that one. Yeah, that one supposedly will teach you how to make a Space Invaders game as it teaches you assembly.
That's cool.
I lost my credit to that book. There's a big Inman feud, and I was dropped from the final publication. No.
Yeah.
And that's his story. He's sticking to it.
But this is it looks like it's a good book there. And after I had bought the book, about 2 weeks later, I did see another copy of it come up, but it has the this one here is color, and there's another one that's the color version of it.
Color,
so, the proper spelled one. Yeah.
The proper spelling of it, yes. And and then there was, I think, one that actually has. I think there's one out there right now on eBay, and they're wanting $100 for that thing.
Wow, yeah, it's very uncommon.
So at the time, it sold for the low price of $14.95. So.
Wow. Wow. If only we could go back in time.
Here's another book I got here. I think this one actually came in when Mark sent me those magazines. He had a few books that he threw in there, and this was one of them that was in here. And it's by Bob Albrecht. It's the TRS-80 color book. And again,
I think I might
kind
have
of a basic,
that one.
and it kind of very similar to like the book that you get with the color computer, where it gives a lot of examples and things like that, and just kind of walks you through it all. So yeah, this one's kind of fun. I was kind of thumbing through this one here, but it's the TRS-80 Users Encyclopedia, and this one here was kind of an interesting one. I'm surprised the guy even sent it. They had it listed out there for $3 buy now. So I bought it now.
Okay.
But the thing is, I waited.
Okay.
I waited at work.
How much was shipping on the $3 book?
I waited at work with the postage machine at work there, and it came up at $8. So how the guy sent it and made any money is beyond me. But I guess he wanted to sell it, and so I bought it. But it's
Well,
got an interesting one.
Yeah,
If you send it media mail, it'll be cheaper than first
Is
class.
it cheaper, that one? Just the regular? Yep. So, but it's still at $3, so he couldn't have done too much or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you have too many more books to show, we're probably going to have to take a commercial break here because this has been like a 45-minute segment. No,
Three more. This is the one I was actually quite excited after I opened the book. I actually posted this one on Facebook. This again was a William Barton book. There, it's How to Do It on the TRS-80.
Nope.
And this is kind of a fun book there.
Do it.
And what kind of was kind of exciting about it, this is a very interesting book. I mean, he just covers everything. I mean, basic commands, assembly stuff in here, power, the RS-232 port. I mean, he just breaks down the whole computer technology-wise. I mean, everything from pulling chips to soldering to, I mean, just everything. But the part that I thought was very interesting when I opened it up was on the inside was actually, I don't know, is this coming through here? There you go. He wrote a note to this guy named John.
John, at last. Bill.
This is
who's the
William
author?
Barton. So I don't know if John was a friend of his, or
Wow.
John was maybe a technical person that gave him some input. I'd like to. I don't know who the John is. That'd be very interesting to find out. But that was kind of nice that I actually had a signature, or not really a signature, but a handwritten note.
Yeah. Now that's TRS-80, so that's like Model 1.
This
Model
covers
3,
the Model 1,
the
2,
Z80.
3 color computer, and the Model.
Oh,
There were
another
several
cross-platform.
in that series. Dennis Kitts did a few. There was one on the Disc and Other Mysteries for the Model 1 and 3. There was Bill Barton did a Basic and Other Mysteries. There were a lot of them in those series, and they were all excellent books. I have all of them. They're really good books.
Is that the ones that have like the wizard on the front of them?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking at some of those there. Since they're not specific, some of those aren't specific to the color computer, and that's where I kind of target. But still, very interesting.
Yeah. That's cool. That's very cool to have a broad spectrum TRS-80 reference manual that covers the whole line. You know.
Yeah, because you never know. It might someday I might actually get a Model 1, 2, or 3. We'll see.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Got this one actually just the other day. It's the TRS-80 Color Computer Technical Reference Manual. I think this one's actually out there on the archive there.
Okay.
Again, it's kind of.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
I got a couple of those. Yeah, those are neat.
And then the last one that I had here, and this one again was. I want to say maybe just an impulse buy, I guess, because it's not specific to the color computer, but it is specific to the Model 1 and 3. But they had it listed out there for $2.
TRS-80 graphics.
But again, it's just kind of interesting to kind of thumb through it as from at least from a historical standpoint, just kind of referencing back and just kind of seeing how it all kind of compares. And but like I said, the price was right.
Honestly, I don't know if the character set lines up just right, but there was a way to print kind of semi graphics on the Model 1 and 3 too, like the four block grid, kind of like how the CoCos are. I don't know if those characters if they line up exactly the same as they do in the CoCo or not, but that would be kind of cool because then you could at least print semi graphics. Screen might not line up just right unless you get a CoCo VGA, and then because I think the Model 1 and 3 were 64 column, right?
Well, yeah, there was a program that should be on the archive that Bob Rosen used to sell that would let you port Model 1 and 3 basic programs over to the CoCo, and it would put the CoCo in a graphics mode that worked like 64 columns.
Oh, like a fake font that handled the characters?
Character set. You would port Model 1 software over to run on the CoCo back when there was not a lot of software at the beginning of the CoCo introduction. So that book would be
that's pretty
useful
clever
with that other program to play around, or even to help you port Model 1 basic programs from some of the magazines back in the day.
Yeah, it's almost like basically it's almost like emulation, right? You're emulating emulating Z80 basic language.
Yeah,
and
I think it also
text
translated
screen.
to basic. I'm pretty sure that it did, and it allowed you to load in Model 1 cassettes. Because the Model 1 cassettes were 500 baud, I think, and the Model 3 and the CoCo were 1500 baud. They sped up.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember hearing about that. Very cool. Nice collection. Is that the light of it?
The only thing I was
going
to just to show there, only because I was kind of it was kind of interesting because I've been looking for a good monitor. You had kind of spoke about the Dell, the 207, and so I happened to pick myself up one here, and very happy with it. It's the one that has that composite input that you had spoke about, that you recently acquired one. And,
right.
Yeah, I mean it makes a great display there, and you can plug the Color Computer 3 straight into it.
So you got the Color Computer 3 running
this is not composite.
Right now.
No, this is actually running through the SCART. But through the composite, it's the picture's not quite as clear, but it does do a very nice picture, and it fills the screen nice, which is nice. I really like it.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's 4x3. So what did you do? Take the SCART HDMI output and convert that to DVI?
I have going to the HDMI. I have an HDMI to VGA adapter plugged into the SCART box, or the little adapter box that they recommend to get when you're using the
switcheroo.
The switcheroo. Thank you. And so I have that's VGA input right now on that monitor. But but yeah, you can get the composite going there. And it's not quite as crisp, and the color's a little different. But but it still makes for a nice resolution, though. So yep, I like it.
Yeah.
I was going to say though, if anybody does want to get one of those Dell monitors and does not have a stand for it, reach out to me. I have we have a office move with my work, and we're putting everybody's monitors onto monitor arms, and we happen to have a whole bunch of Dell monitors, and the Dell Snap-on stand is pretty universal. Yep.
That's pretty universal, yeah.
If anybody wants any,
cool.
be happy to send them one.
Yeah, and that sound bar, you got the sound bar with it too?
I happen to have that sound bar, and so yeah, that was good because with the Dell monitors, and so yeah, I snapped that thing on there, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that whole line, that whole product line had some swappable parts. Those sound bars could be swapped between. I've got a slightly wider version of that monitor with a sound bar, so whenever I get mine set up, I'm probably going to move the sound bar to it.
Yeah, because it's kind of nice because it plugs right into the monitor, so it gets its power that way, and works.
I'd be interested to find out what the mount is on the back of those monitors with the stands you've got there. I've got a bunch of HP 4x3 monitors here that don't have stands, and
I got one behind me. You want me to grab it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Here we go. You got the two little tabs on top right here.
Oh, and
it hooks right on the top and then snaps at the bottom there. So, yep, and they're almost all the same.
Yeah, okay. That actually, probably make that fit.
These stands are fixed at the height, so the only thing you have is just your angle that you can adjust. That particular monitor back there has the sliding support on it, so you can go high or low with it.
No, I'll have to have a look on the back of those HPs. I got them all from an auction, and I got like dirt cheap. I got like 6 of them or something. One of them came with a stand, and the other ones didn't. And I thought, well, I could adapt something, make something up for it, but I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. So, I'll have to have a look and see.
But as Stevie indicated, though, they are quite popular because I think they have that composite input, and you do have to kind of be patient if you're out there watching them on eBay. Every once in a while, you'll see one sneak through for like $50, but even some that are. The other day, there was actually a person must have had a pallet of them or something, and they were selling them brand new in the box, and they listed them at $29.95. And of course, they had bidding on them, and I don't think there was one that went for less than $70 or $80. And then you still had to throw $25 shipping on top of that. So, but they were disappearing pretty fast. So yeah, if you have notifications turned on, you can snag one up pretty quick. This one I think I paid $60 for. and that was shipping including.
What's the model number?
It's 2007 FP, Dell 2007 FP. So it's really heavy. It's wicked heavy. But the nice thing about it is it's 4:3 ratio, so it's perfectly, as perfectly square as you're going to get. It is a LCD screen. It has VGA, DVI. It's got a composite input, and it's got an S video input. So you can take a lot of old analog things and plug into it.
So the monitor. That monitor,
yeah, it's a pretty. It's
the
a
one
good
sitting up there on the
screen.
top of my CoCo one there is a Dell. Is probably about the same vintage, and it's really heavy. Doesn't have the composite input though. It's also got VGA and DVI, just the regular inputs. But it's a really nice picture on it.
So, if you're out there on eBay, a lot of them when they do show them on eBay, they do show a picture with the ports on it, and you can clearly see the composite input. And I would look for that because there's some Dells out there that they don't show them. They look very similar, but they don't have the composite input. They just have the VGA and DVI.
Yeah. Are they multi-standard, PAL, NTSC?
I don't know about that. Oh, for the composite itself, it's probably NTSC because it's a US
Yeah,
product.
I wonder if they did an Australian version of it.
They tend to self-sync. I have an NTSC television. I hooked up a PAL Amiga, and it just syncs to the PAL signal. They support. Usually they.
Oh, the color burst frequency is different too. It's 3.58 versus 4.43.
But it's PAL and the whatever 1024 by 768, whatever it was.
And you got full color out of it as well.
Yep, got full color out of it.
Okay.
So the Dell 2001, which is the one I use, actually has all those 4 inputs also. And this is I believe a 19-inch, and it's like 1600 by 1200 resolution.
So it's not. Is it still 4:3 ratio, or is it slightly wide?
I think it's a 4:3.
That's
sure it is.
That's a 50 kilohertz monitor. You should be able to hook it directly to a CoCo 3 as long as you make up the right cable. You don't even need a switcheroo and an adapter, because that's the recommended display for an Amiga. If you wanted to hook it up directly to an Amiga, the Dell 2001.
Oh, it does the right 15 kilohertz for the horizontal refresh. Yeah, okay.
That's what that monitor is supposed to support.
Hey, David,
that has the recommended monitors for the Amiga.
The Dell 2000 FP, it says in page 5 of the user manual, it says NTSC and PAL for the composite and its video.
Oh, and NTSC and PAL.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Good one.
Yeah, of course, under PAL mode, you won't get the
artifact colors.
Artifact colors,
Very cool stuff. Nice collection there, Brian Wieseler. Would you say that perhaps you have a problem, or have you got things under control?
No worries. All in the budget. All in the budget.
There's still room on the shelf back there.
Yeah, he can quit anytime he wants.
Yes.
Yeah, there's still room on the shelf.
Got a little space right up there, I guess. So yeah. So
yeah. It's not a problem as long as it's organized, right? If you know where everything is and it's organized, it's not a problem. It's not hoarding. It's
collecting, preserving. It's preserving.
It's collecting. Yes.
You can still move in the house.
Oh yeah, it's fun though. I mean, it's I don't know. To me, this is my hobby, and like any hobby, it's what do you want to put into it? I want to learn the programming. I enjoy playing with them. I'm probably more of a player than the programming. But the programming thing is the thing I want to start learning a little bit. I never had. I typed in the programs from the Rainbow magazine, like a lot of us did, and then tinkered around that way. But I have a few ideas of some games I guess I'd like to try to do, and so start reading these books that I've gotten, and maybe I can self-teach myself. Along with some of the videos and the things that we've started here on the group, and we can continue and learn together.
Right. There you go. I'm looking forward to seeing you do 3-layer graphics. So.
I'm looking forward to somebody taking that dog out for a walk.
Somebody get that damn dog some water. All right. Well, we got more to talk about. We've just been joined by Nick Marentes.
Hey, sorry about that.
Nick.
Oh, wait, I've got to switch my virtual background, Stevie, to be appropriate here.
Yeah.
Hey, the show just started, so it's okay.
Ah, that's better.
There we go. Popstar Pilot and Vegemite.
I keep them together in my cabinet. I feel like.
Popstar and Vegemite.
I saw a Vegemite story
right?
this week. I can't remember what it was.
All right. Well, how about we do this? We are going to run a commercial break, and we will be back after these words. We got more to talk about. We're going to hear about VCF, Pacific Northwest, I believe it was, in one of those directions, and other things. So stay tuned, and we'll be back.
Hello, I'm David Ladd. Thank you for watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading live CoCoTALK show.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me. It's Original Gamer Stevie Stroh. You know, gameplay.
To get your copy of a Gameplay Goodness Color Computer Gaming DVD today, head on over to 8bit256.com. There you will find several DVDs featuring color computer gameplay videos by the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh. So to get your very own copy of a Gameplay Goodness Color Computer Gaming DVD, head on over to the Retro Swag Shop at 8bit256.com and tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
This year, I needed to give a real family pleaser.
Honey, please help me with this budget.
How about a new game, Dad? Please.
And I found it. Radio Shack's Color Computer 2. On sale for just $99.95. It entertains, educates, manages. It's expandable and affordable. Now that really pleases me.
The Color Computer 2. Sale priced for Christmas. Only at Radio Shack.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
So that was the American version of the CoCoDUMP
Honey,
commercial.
Please help me with the finances.
Honey, please help me with. How about a new game, Dad?
Hold on, play with my shortwave.
Yeah. All right. I need to go to Radio Shack to buy something to shut up my whining family. All right. So they were all out of duct tape, so I got them a CoCo too. So. We are back. We've been joined by Nick Marentes. We've also just been joined by Bruce Moore. Good evening. Hello, Bruce.
Welcome from Canada. Got to represent.
Hey. You got to represent. Curtis is not here, so we got to bring out the numbers. We got to kick it into overdrive here with the Canadians, eh? Mark D. Overholzer. Did you put it in Zoom chat? I think I need to open it up again because I rebooted. Can you put it in again because I also lost the Zoom chat from prior. The Zoom chat to your gallery of VCF Pacific Northwest.
Actually, it's VCF's gallery, but I will share it with you.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. So what we're going to look at, what we missed, you wouldn't probably have not been able to give us live coverage, anyways, last week, but we're going to talk about it this week because you were there. Here it is. Let me find the link. And so we're gonna hear some breaking news from Mark D. Overholzer. Of course, now when I click on my left screen, yes. What's happening? Hey, look at this! It actually came up when I clicked on it. That doesn't happen all the time. All right, so this is actually coming from the Facebook group of VCF. So I'll go ahead and I'll post that in the live chat too for the benefits of you who want to play along at home. What the heck? Target bitrate? What's going on there? I don't know what the hell just happened there. That is really weird. I just tried to copy and paste the link. Hold on. Let's try this again. Control A, delete. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to highlight this link. Oh, that's weird. The target bit rate was archived and no frames were dropped. I don't know what's going on here. I'm clicking on your link. The URL is like
don't know. I can paste it.
Wackadoodle. All right. So, okay. So, Vintage Computer Federation. And so there's an album here, and this was last week, right? Now, where did this take place at, Mark?
This was in Seattle, Washington, at the Living Computer Museum and Lab, Plus Lab. Basically, it's a Paul Allen-funded project. Okay. And one of their tenets, I know a little bit about it, is, but not a lot, is that they try to have working machines. And so they have a lot of working systems you can actually put your hands on. That's their big thing compared to like the Computer History Museum. So lots of hands-on stuff. And most of the exhibits that people brought for the VCF were hands-on as well.
Okay. And so, do we know what we're looking at here? On this
I know
right
some
now?
of these. I believe this is digital equipment. There are a lot of like PDP, either retro Pi type emulation systems or remake ones. There were a few real PDP systems, like a PDP-8, but I believe this was a simulated one. At least I believe they're using a Raspberry Pi to power it. Then they have the.
Okay. All right. Now, I got to say, the event itself, the room looks really cool. It's pretty big.
Big warehouse. Yep.
High ceilings. Very, very industrial looking. Yeah. Here we see a bunch of guys staring at a screen in wonderment. Now, we got some kids here and family and stuff here, too. So a nice mixed crowd.
Yeah. So lots of kids, lots of adults, old adults, young adults.
Okay. And this museum, I take it's open year-round, so people could come in and see this. At any,
they're not open Mondays and Tuesdays. Right. They're open like Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay. Now this is probably, I'm going to guess, like an IBM PC, like a 5150 or something.
Actually,
just looking by the case
actually an
and
AT
the monitor that's
with
on
EGA monitor, and he was running AutoCAD. Oh. His demo I talked to him was engineering, so he's running AutoCAD. He actually had an HP pen plotter that worked. EEPROM burner, basically engineering from 30 years ago, what people would be using. The one to the right of it, I think there's a picture, is a Model 50, which is a 286 microchannel.
The one
the
that's
other
lower
side,
down here?
to the right if you're facing it, left from here.
Okay. Okay, very cool. All right, I have no idea what this is. Looking at a laptop and an old keyboard.
Not sure what that is. I only looked at some of them. I didn't talk to a lot of the people. So.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. This looks like some big chunks of metal here.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what the hell.
There are a bunch of Silicon graphics systems. I don't know if those were them, but there was somebody had a whole collection of Silicon graphics stuff. That might be them. Looks like it's the right row.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no descriptions here from this, so they're just
3D
in the gallery. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's from the this is the other angle here.
There's the HP plotter. There's a drafting a tablet. The little puck slides around, so you do tracing and stuff. And the IBM and off the bottom of the frame would be the Model 50.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right, and I have no idea what they're looking at here. Good attendance though. You can see there's a lot of people there, a lot of interest.
I think they said for the weekend 1,100 people, 1,100 people, which is like a record, museum record.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. All right, so is this
that's
that
the
same
EGA
system?
and the AT system and the plotter. Yep.
Okay, kind of little wireframe there. Looks kind of like maybe the Washington Monument or something. I'm not
some
sure
sort of building. It's AutoCAD, probably.
Yeah. AutoCAD,
terminals.
yeah. All right, so then we got some nice green screen glory here, huh? So nothing beats.
Those
nice
are televideo
screen.
terminals. So various dumb terminals. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Looks good. Oh yeah, the rows of green, right? It's like stare into the matrix, right? So, cool stuff. This is something larger.
I believe it's that
guess,
PDP-8 that's in the background beyond the card, if I remember right. Yeah, I think that was the heaviest exhibit they had there. What you can't see is just to the behind the guy that's standing there is the just to the off to the right is the loading bay door, and then it's like 40 feet to the outside. They didn't move it any further than they had to.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, so this looks like a PC
actually,
and a green screen.
Suitcase or the briefcase on the right, that's got a Model 100 Radio Shack. And then I believe that's a Toshiba with a blue screen, but I think also they sold a Radio Shack anyway.
Okay.
And the PC there with the green screen, very interesting story. The guy that had it is from Canada, and he got it from an instructor at Fraser University who got it from an instructor at University of Waterloo. And it was a pre-production IBM PC, model 5150, I guess. He said it's pre-production because it has tons of blue wire and, Kynar wire correction in it. It was sent to University of Waterloo to do a port of APL from IBM mainframe to PC. And so it had like custom ROMs, and the thing didn't work when he got it. He had to test it out. But I mean, it's like the back, normally they have that kind of chromed stuff. This has like an anodized black. I mean, it's a very unique looking PC, and it's like, there's got to be only a handful of them. It'd be worth a lot for a collector.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. That's almost, I don't know if it's near Apple One level, but,
but
in that vein possibly.
Wang
calculators. Ooh,
this guy had the entire series of Wang calculators from like the early 1960s to the mid 70s. He has like every model.
Is this from
Wang.
This is Wayne Enterprises, like the famous billionaire Bruce
Wang.
Wayne? Oh, Wang. Oh, Wang. Okay. All right. Wang calculators.
They also made like word processing systems and some computers too.
Yeah, probably all vacuum fluorescent displays, I guess. Would they?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think their commercials were, you can't wait to get your hands on our Wang, right? So, yeah, they did make Wang computers.
Actually, my school had a Wang word processing station,
and that great song Wang Chung too. So, okay, so now we have a Commodore
and a Commodore Plus.
And a Commodore.
So the gentleman that run this, that's his mom there in the background. This is Gordon, and I don't know how old he is, but I say he's probably about 12. He's actually from me, but he's an enthusiastic Commodore collector, and he's busy collecting all the models he can. So he was basically having a competition between the different models and the games that were available. So,
I wonder if he was at the one that Jim Brain had covered too, because I remember him.
Yeah,
he was a younger kid there.
Yeah, it might have been. He lives just south of me, just a little bit, so he could have made it down to Las Vegas pretty easy. Yeah. Anyway, this was hands-on. People could sit down and play at him. So very cool.
Yeah, neat. Very neat. And this is an Apple II
it
GS.
Is. And actually, this is an entire Apple Talk network. There's like 6 computers running.
Oh, you got a handful of them all in a row.
All networked together.
And what was that? Was that a coax, like T-connector coax, or was it using some type of Ethernet connector?
It was
I don't
more
remember
like
what
a
the
twisted
actual
pair
cable
with
was.
a little DIN connector, mini DIN. So.
Okay. I remember hearing of Apple Talk. I just don't remember seeing Apple Talk. But it wasn't
on this frame,
Ethernet-esque.
on the very far left edge, you can see a black monitor in the upper left corner there. That's my CoCo 3 on the other side of that, but you can't see it. Yep, right there.
Oh, right
my
here?
CoCo 3 is that's the monitor for it.
Oh,
okay.
Apple Talk.
Is Apple Talk like CoCoTALK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used either a 4-pin round connector into these transceiver boxes, or what was very popular was what was called the local talk boxes that used regular telephone wire.
Okay.
And you could, I have a bunch of them, and you could use that instead of the Apple, the much more expensive Apple supplied app.
Okay. And was it kind of like a daisy chainable serial bus? They talk to each other? I mean, I know there was some Ethernet-esque protocol going on.
Yeah, back then there was Apple Talk, which was a serial daisy chainable protocol. Then there was OmniNet was the Corvus 1 megabit precursor to Ethernet, and then there was ArcNet, which was very popular back then. And all of the backup cards are also on the Apple II, Apple II GS, Apple III, and TRS-80s had them. IBM PCs had.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. I mean, it's if you're old enough, you remember a time when there was just like I remember the year and I remember the place. In 1989, I was working at a store called the Byte Shop, and in that store we were selling Apple IIs, Apple II GSs, the Mac Classic, IBM 286, 386, and 486 clones. I mean, all these computers were available all at the same time, and people were still buying Apple IIs at the same time they were buying 286 and 386 computers. So not only were there all these different computers that didn't talk to each other like they do now, there were all these different networking was still relatively new. So there was the Novell networking that was going on with like, BNC coax connectors over, Ethernet. There was Apple Talk. There was, so there was a time when there was all these different proprietary network protocols and hardware and connections going on too.
Well,
I mean, we're in a very plug and play, internet society now.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, Al. Even BBSing was, you had all those different settings, and now there was then somebody invented Kermit, so I had to figure out, Kermit's not a Muppet, it's something else.
Yeah. There was X modem, Y modem, Z modem. There was all these different things. But
the TRS-80s used the cassette port, so you would have a teacher with a disk drive, like a Model 3 or a Model 4. And they would then C-save the program to the cassette port, and all the kids would type in C-load, and that was a very primitive way of networking back in.
Oh, so it was like a network. It was like a serial broadcaster where everybody got it at the same time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Drive wire.
Okay.
Drive wire.
Drive wire.
And,
drive wire.
And of course,
drive wire.
Corvus had OmniNet that used flat cable, and those interface boxes hooked into the expansion ports. But I'm not aware of any networking that ever was made for the CoCo. I mean, someone must have made one, and I'm sure someone's going to adapt all these new, like there were Commodore network adapters that plug into the user port. I'm sure someone.
I think Curtis could comment on that.
I'm sure they existed.
Network
I'm sure they existed.
System at his work, and I know the TRS-80s were all lined up in our lab. The Model 3s were all lined up. And networked all together. So I assume that you could probably do the same with a color computer.
Yep. Well, that guy, I can't think of his name right now. He makes the M1 SE and the M3 SE that you plug into the expansion port for the Model 1 and the Model 3. And that adds an Ethernet to the Model 1 and the Model 3. And you can do Telnet and TCP/IP. Well, Model 1 and the Model 3 obviously can't go on the internet, but you can use it for data file transfer. And the nice thing about the M1 SE is since the Model 1 video is memory mapped, it goes into the video memory of the Model 1, then uses a CTLD, and it converts that to a VGA signal, and you can hook a VGA monitor up to a Model 1 so that you can get a VGA output on a Model 1. He wasn't quite able to do that for the Model 3, but it's a neat little device. And it also adds like a CoCo similar to the CoCo SDC to the Model 1. It adds an SDC to the Model 3, which is different.
Are you talking about the Peter Bartlett thing?
Bartlett, probably, yeah.
The Apple Talk demo the guy was doing, the gentleman's name I think is John Ball. He actually dressed up in it like an 80s tweed suit. There's no picture of him, unfortunately, here, but he was dressed in a suit and a hat. I mean, he looked he looked like your computer instructor from the 80s. It was lovely.
Okay.
It was lovely.
Okay.
Atari.
Now this one caught my eye because this reminded me of a program pack file a little bit here. Now, are these Atari computer
Atari
cartridges?
800 computer cartridges.
Like Atari 400, 800 cartridges. Yeah,
he had an 800.
Right, so that looks like the Atari equivalent of a program pack file. That's kind of cool looking.
There's my favorite right there, Star Raiders. I love that game. My favorite. There it is.
Yeah, so there's the Atari 800. And
the two drives, the printer, the whole bit.
Yeah, doubled up. Man, those are some big fucking fat high drives, weren't they? What's that one underneath it? That almost looks like something else.
It's a second.
Like a cassette tape or something.
Or floppy. Two floppy drives, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Numeric
and then what is this?
Yep.
A numeric keypad?
This is
for all your hardcore Apple 800 number crunching that actually happened on that machine, right?
Those were happening.
At least if you had a TRS-80, you almost had to know you were going to do something businessy with it because it wasn't that gamey. Anybody who bought an Apple and tried to bullshit themselves and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to run some business app," like nobody did anything.
Oh, they did.
On the Apple
for a spreadsheet. This is the Atari, but he did have a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, Atari. Nobody did anything businessy on the Atari 800.
That printer back there next to the disk drives, Radio Shack, one of the first. No.
Yeah. Printer. That's a Panasonic.
The other
That's a Panasonic.
On the right side, yeah.
Over here.
737. Radio Shack sold the exact same printer for the TRS-80s when the Model 1 first came out. And the only difference was it was in the two-tone silver, you know, the Radio Shack silver and black.
Okay. So here we see an Atari XL, and then I don't know if that's an ST in the background there. It might be an Atari ST.
That was an Atari.
1040, is it a 1040 or something?
Could be. So we're in Atari alley
there was
right
an
now.
8-bit Atari
like, so.
XE that looked just like that. That's probably an XE because the ST had the keypads.
Okay.
That's probably a 130 or a 65 XE.
Okay. So that's still in the
the
Atari
last
800
of the
line?
8-bit is.
Okay. Gotcha. And they were kind of phased. They were kind of like the case looks like they were transitioning to the case style that would make it to the 512 and 1040 STs, right?
They modernized the case design.
So that
They
white modernized
all
casing.
The computers match. You know, kind of like the CoCo matched the Model 1 and Model 3 at the time.
It's the Jack Tramiel version of the Atari 800.
Right.
It is, yeah. He came up with that.
The guy in the jacket there is the Atari guy.
Okay.
And remember,
that's the Apple.
Okay, where's that?
The guy with the jacket there, and the lapels.
There is that card that somebody was making called the Liberty or the Liber 09, and you put it
The Libra.
in the Atari,
Yeah.
and it would run OS 9.
Yeah. So here's some more of the Mac classics on the
all
Apple
those things
Talk
are Apple
network.
Talk together.
Yeah. No, this might be a hard drive
I
underneath
believe
it
so,
there in
yeah.
that big box. Yeah. I remember selling these things.
His
back
main
in the
server is
day.
actually to the left there. There it is. That's the server console right there. That's running Mac OS
Okay, so this
Quadra
is,
400, and that's actually to the right there. You can see the back of it. Yep, right there. That's a Quadra, and that's Mac OS 7 point something, 7.5 or something like that.
So this server's on Apple Talk, and everybody's kind of teamed off of that, huh?
Server talk to the.
Hey, Bryza joined us on Facebook. Brian said, "Good day, Coconut." Say, Bryza.
Mark, can the server talk to the internet? The Apple Talk server?
Probably could, but I don't think you had it hooked up that way, although there was networking available.
Okay, what is a grid
portable?
machine?
Really nice, heavy duty. Tempest, if I remember right. They're secure.
And Grid was eventually bought by Tandy, and the later Tandy laptops were made by Grid.
Okay. Was it like an MS-DOS contender?
Laptop, well, I wouldn't want to put that on my lap, but it was a portable. It was a portable computer, and they had plasma displays.
Oh, I wonder how good that would look with the Play-Doh
really nice, actually.
Yeah.
The cases were made out of magnesium. They were
super durable. Yeah,
very durable.
So is that where milk of magnesium comes from? Is when they grind these things up? Terry's asking how many capacitors blew during this event. Can you imagine all these things?
Well, Saturday, both those grids were working, and on Sunday, only the one on the left was on. So I think some technical problems. So that didn't mix.
It was, we had, on the first year of Tandy Assembly, there was a minor power issue, and I think it had a lot to do with Alan Hightower's whole row of to hold every generation of Tandy from the 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, all those things plugged in. We were like tripping circuit breakers, but I don't recall any systems blowing up, but yeah.
That's
the difference. You like when you go to like a, go ahead, sorry.
Probably all the inrush
David.
current of everything switching on at once, all the CRT monitors with degaussing coils switching on and popping breakers.
Yeah. Like in a classic car show when everybody's got their cars out there, you probably don't have too many engines blow up during these things, but when you have a vintage computer thing, you never know you're gonna have a power supply blow up capacitor or something like that. Right?
The VCF East, where I live by me, they give away an award for the first computer to let out the magic smoke.
I don't know what the hell we're looking at here. This is a tall.
It's an AT&T Unix system. It was dial-in. They actually had this active modem there just to the right of it on the table. It was hooked into their PBX.
Yeah, that was probably,
a
a dedicated what you see is what you get, like a page maker,
a WYSIWYG screen,
word processor, like for doing desktop publishing.
Ah, yeah, right.
I know it was an active system you could connect to and you could dial into it.
Ah, that's neat. Yeah, all AT&T. Yep. So it's
another.
Yeah, it's definitely a graphical screen there too. But it's like basically turned a monitor on its side and made it tall. Yeah. Mark
yes,
was happy
they didn't
here,
get
right?
pictures of my CoCo 3s though. There's 2 CoCo 3s to the left of this. I don't know why there's none of them, but there is my Apple IIe and my Commodore.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, this is your Commodore portable?
C64 portable called the SX. Yep.
Is that the stock keyboard?
And the stock cable. Everything's original.
Oh, that looks somewhat modern from this angle here. Yeah. Yeah. Apple II with the hood off so people can see what you got in there. You got your what do you got? What do you got in here anyways? I don't recognize there's big ass
one on the
cards,
far left is a
as
RAM card. It's 80 column card and there's 1 megabyte of memory on it.
Okay.
The next is a super serial card. It's the RS-232 pack, basically. The little short one there, that's actually an Ethernet card with a there's the adapter there. You got it. And then the next one is actually it's actually a FPGA card that's experimental. It's called the Carte Blanche 2. I'm actually using it as a VGA HDMI adapter. That's what's driving the monitor.
Ooh.
Yep. And then that one there is the equivalent of the CoCo SDC. It's called the CFFA 3000. It's basically a hard disk, floppy disk emulation.
Neat. Neat. So this is part of the Marco table that we're
I was trying
at
to do
now,
some networking stuff that I didn't get working quite right, but at least people played around with stuff and lots of memory lane and lots of people talking. So, hey, notice my screwdrivers there, obligatory free screwdrivers. Yep.
Oh yeah, over here.
Yep.
Grab a screwdriver, poke your eye out, have some fun with it, all right? So,
but they didn't get a picture of my CoCo 3s. They're to the left. No.
Didn't you post?
I smell conspiracy.
You posted up photos of those though, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I can show you. Yeah, this is a consignment room. You can see there's an Osborne 1A there right in the foreground. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the PM system, and it's IBM PC over there against the far wall to the left.
This here looks like a steampunk version of a tricorder or something. I don't know what the hell that thing is. So,
could be a voltage supply. Could be a test.
It looks like a variant that you use to slowly ramp up the power. It's really
slowly ramp up the power. We can't give you all the power at once. We got to turn that crank.
An old system, it's not a bad idea to bring the power up slowly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Nothing blows out.
So, especially old electrolytic capacitors and power supplies, the number one thing that kills old capacitors is if you power them up quickly when they've been sitting around for many years. And one of the best ways to prevent that is to use a variac and wind them up slowly, let them charge. So.
Oh, wow. I had never heard of that before. That's interesting. Yeah. This thing here in the left, far left-hand side almost looks like a freaking cash register or something underneath there, but I guess that's 2 big, like, ultra-wide 8-inch floppies or something. It's like sitting on a shelf, this computer system.
System above it.
Yeah. What the? And that looks like an IBM 5150 or equivalent style chassis and screen there. The problem with all these machines, you kind of want to have what's you want to have one of everything, but they're so damn big. Where are you going to put them all? And it's just.
Oh, look at that! They got one of Ron's T-shirts there, all the way in the back there. One of his Radio Shack.
Oh, the Radio Shack shirt, right? The
yeah. There's a guy who was selling a whole bunch of swagware, and he made quite a bit too. I was there when he was cashing out.
I see some type of Apple box far in the corner there, so some type of Apple product was available. So unlike the no minimum bid auction, this is where people leave things. They just leave it in the room, and other people can just decide to buy it or not, and somebody will handle the sales for you.
And they take a commission.
Is that how that works?
So.
Right, which is fine, but you don't have to sit there and whatever. So anything you want to sell, you wouldn't sell it at your table. You would just put it in this room, and somebody would handle it.
I just posted a few links in the Zoom chat that are a couple of more of my table. So when you get there.
Okay. We'll get to that in just a second. All right, so we got a nice old punch phone here.
Ooh, the red phone.
Pretty good. Red phone. I don't know what this system is here they're sitting at, but it's got like a teletype.
That's the 33, Model 33 with the PDP-8. That's the one I think that weighed the most. That's the
Teletype,
to the right. That's the door to the loading dock. They didn't move it any further than they had to.
Wow. At least you can see it now without the people in front of it. So that looks kind of cool. Yeah. Holy crap! What are we looking at here? A collection of
I don't know. I didn't talk to this table. They had all these different CDs and stuff. It's like, okay.
Yeah. So obviously these containers here, these have to be some type of disk cartridge system that was used by some storage device that most civilians never saw. This is just a big ass disk cartridge. Looks like a giant
floppy.
3.5 inch
it's
floppy.
huge.
Yeah. So yeah, either it was done as like a promotional thing, or it wouldn't surprise me if there were just big ass disk cartridges that existed on some
IBM
system.
had some disk packs. Yeah, IBM had some disk packs for their mainframe that were multiple platters that were in a spindle thing, and you put it into a top load.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it looks like there's different cards down here explaining. Like this one here this almost looks like a 45 or something, but it's reflective. So that might be like some bigger 45 style optical disc.
And Bernoulli cartridges, those big floppy looking things.
Yeah.
Or the early 8-inch, they might have been 8-inch Bernoulli like cartridges. Because the zip drive was a sized down version of those.
I was just going to say that. They look like a big Omega zip drive. Yeah.
If you go to the next picture, you get a better view of it.
Okay.
Back in the mid-90s.
Oh, yeah. So that looks like a freaking laser disc right there, right? So Kodak photo CDs, I remember those. And yeah, so this is like optical storage through the years, huh? We're looking at CDs and Blu-rays and DVDs and photo CDs and God knows what else.
I have to say, I spent most of the time at my table, and I wasn't going around looking at stuff, so I didn't get to talk to a whole lot of people.
That little tiny one, looks like a zip click disc. They were like an even further miniaturized zip disc that they sold cameras that went with, and you plug the click disc into a camera, but they never caught on.
Okay. All right, here's another angle for it here too. So yeah, no, that's really interesting. Yeah, that would have been kind of cool to maybe read some of these little things here and pick this guy's brains. Have you seen this disc? It's something about the 130 Swan 130. That looks like a little tiny floppy, like even smaller than a 5 1/4 inch down there. So yeah, man, I guess there's been
back in the day there was
different
three types that were vying for sub 5 1/4. There was 3 inch, a 3 1/4, and a 3 1/2.
There was also a 2 1/2. IBM made a 2 1/2.
Oh, they made a 2 1/2. Okay.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, well, the Apple chose the 3 1/2 from Sony for the Macintosh, and kind of, and then IBM.
The AMDEC was sold. The 3-inch were sold on the CoCo. AMDEC used to take ads in the CoCo magazine.
Right.
3-inch drives.
They had interface for the Apple also, and I think
they were on Apple II, CoCo, Model 3s, Model 1s, Atari 800s. They put on anything.
This is. Yeah, man, there's just so much to see here. This is really
cool. Coming up soon is the VCF East. So.
Look at this. Here's another angle of that system with a nice round kind of.
That's retro. That's retro. Really retro.
It is.
That's retro right there. You need one of these in your studio, David O'Connor. This would fit right in with all your analog.
That would look cool. So. It'll look cool with a oscilloscope display on that screen.
Yeah, get the oscilloscope going with your audio spectrum going through the oscilloscope.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, neat. All these pictures. Okay, so obviously they had people speaking. Computers behind glass. Yeah, so this is a side view of the speaker stuff. Man, there's a good turnout to these.
The guy speaking here, this is the guy that worked for Atari. His name was begins with a D. Let's see if I can find his.
D. Bruce Moore.
No.
D. Bruce Moore. Okay.
No, he was 1 p.m. Joe DeCurie, DECURIR.
I think he reached out to us one time too. I have some information from him.
Yeah, he's an Atari fellow. I mean, he
did. He designed the hardware. He works for IEEE.
He came and talked to me
at
my table and gave me all his presentation stuff. Gave me a copy of it. Said talking about. He was very much excited by networking, computer networking.
Yeah. This was the guy who I sent you the email saying, "Hey, can you guys help me research some of this technical stuff because it's really technical." Cool, neat. Yeah. So yeah, all his stuff. He had a nice little article on how they designed the. He was the engineer for the 2600. Cool. Lessons learned. Okay. Wow. This looks like a laboratory.
This I believe is their third floor where they work on their stuff, and I actually got I had to get something printed, and so it took me to the third floor, and I got to see what.
Okay, so this is where they maintain the things in the museum, keeping them up and running.
They have rows and rows and racks of stuff all ready to be worked on. And
this reminds me of like when you went to that trip to the moon at Disney World, all the animatronic people behind glass. Is this guy real or is he animatronic? So.
Either that or
okay.
The time
so yeah, but he's got the official lab coat on.
That looks like an early modular synthesizer, but it's not. But it looks like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks like something David O'Connor would have. So
looks like it's got lots of blinky lights.
Holy shit! Look at this.
That's got to be a hybrid because that's a lot of surface mount on circuit boards, along with point-to-point. It's like
that is a sloppy mess.
Looks like Paul Barton's.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's replaced a bunch of. They might replace a bunch of relays with transistors.
So this is a cool room. You know, it's kept at 72 degrees and controlled humidity, and it has a raised floor. It looks like. It looks just like a computer room, server room.
Yeah.
I used to when I was a lab tutor back in the 80s. We had a computer room, and I spent a bunch of time in there. So.
Yeah. That cooling has changed a lot now too, with the hot aisles and stuff. Man, okay, and that's it.
That's
we just
it for theirs. I did post a few links of my table. It shows a few more pictures of my stuff. So it's in the group chat here.
Here's Mark D.
There we go.
So you can see my two CoCo. One, I didn't have a working monitor, so I just had my CoCo 3 open, showing off the boomerang, and I had lots of people come by and poke around, look at it. So
cool.
And I was running Nick Marentes' Factman demo over there on the far left. A lot of people were really impressed with the smoothness of the graphics.
2 layers. Space Needle.
Don't go that way.
The beast. Okay, so are we gonna?
Not relevant.
All right,
not
so
relevant.
we're the wrong way.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. That way. Going to the left. Okay. Another direction. All right. Back of your ViewSonic monitor.
And there's I think there's one other the bottom link, I think. So.
Okay. Let's see. The bottom link. That was
sorry,
the bottom link.
There's 3 of them. So the first 2 are the ones you showed, and it's the bottom one is the third one. So just.
The bottom one is the third one. I don't know what I'm clicking on here, Mark Overhurst. That's what I just clicked on.
I'm enjoying these other pictures, getting a glimpse into.
Yeah.
Now they're on Facebook. Anybody can see them.
Let's see what Mark had for lunch last week. So.
The pizza with Vegemite on it.
Yeah.
No Vegemite.
So.
I did have a Stallion Shepherd pie though a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You can put Vegemite in that. It tastes nice and salty.
All right. Well, I think we've seen enough of VCF. You get the idea here, boys and girls. It was a good turnout. There was a lot of vintage tech there. Probably a little bit different than what some of us are used to, between going to like maybe a CoCoFEST and maybe a VCF Midwest, because this is in a living computer museum. There's probably things that are there year round that aren't at other festivals. So that's kind of cool.
Since we're on VCF, I will be at VCF West in Mountain View, California, with Mike Furman, and we are looking for other folks who want to join us so that we can man the CoCo table. But
I'm
also
planning on being there.
Will you be signing autographs?
Signing autographs of copies of the Boomerang Mania commercial on USB stick. But we would like. Okay, we would like a few.
Get a hold
more
of Tim
people.
Lindner and Tony Capolini. They both live in the area.
Yep, we don't want to be booth babes the entire time, so we want to be able to walk around. So hopefully we'll get a few more people. That's in August.
Okay. Okay. So how about we take another break and then we'll come back, and then you want to talk about your Atari Genesis joystick presentation, Rob Inman? All right. So we'll take another break, and we got a little tech talk, I guess, with would we call this a tech talk technically? Is this a
Sure, let's do that.
music?
Sure, but I don't want to step on Nick Marentes. I think he should probably do a CoreDUMP. It's been a while.
No,
it's been a while since he dumped.
Go for it. I'm dumpless.
All right. Oh. he's all dumped out. Okay.
There's curious for that.
All right. So we're gonna take a commercial break, and then we'll be back, and we're gonna hear from Rob Inman. And I'm excited about this. And Rob will be signing autographs very soon too at VCF West. Right?
It's in August. It's in August.
In August, so you got time. Make your reservations now. At all. All right. We'll try this again. Cue commercial break. Take 1, take 2. Let's try.
Hey, have you got your CoCo 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
All right, we're back, and since this is somewhat of a technical presentation, which was produced for us by Rob Inman, it would not be fitting to not introduce us without some type of thing. Now, I just got to find it. Here we go. I saw it. All right, so this is not a software dump now. This might be a hardware dump, but it's a dump nonetheless. So get ready for a CoreDUMP. Get ready for a CoreDUMP. All right, everybody, it's time for a dump with Rob Inman. We're going to talk about some stuff, and you're going to like it. So get ready. All right, it's a professional show here, folks. All right, so Rob Inman, what I need to do now is because I'm looking at Nick Marotta, and not that there's anything wrong with looking at Nick Marotta, but I need to switch
ukulele solo.
Here.
Yeah. So while you're setting that up, I do have an update that's not on my deck, and that is somewhat related in that Sega has announced a Genesis Mini. So that you'll see why that connects, because Sega recently partnered with Retro 8-Bit on new Genesis controllers. So they're obviously getting back and getting on the bandwagon here.
Everybody's getting on the mini bandwagon.
Yep, you can see this is by my production company, Give the Cat Some Damn Water Productions, on the right. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. So hopefully we can have Richard on the show another time to kind of talk about this. But there's several different joystick to Atari, CoCo joystick to Atari solutions. I think for most people, the Paragon adapters by Boys on Tech are the most kind of convenient. You just plug and play them into the back of your CoCo. Neil Blanchard and Ed Snyder have other ways of doing it through the a PCB board, larger board for Neil Blanchard, which would be good if you're mounting a CoCo in a PC case. And Ed Snyder has the PSG cartridge that has Atari joysticks. But the bottom line is, however you're going to get the connector, it does open up a whole world of possibilities when you have this very widely adopted, standard. And the only limitation, and I'm hoping to do a part 2 of kind of some ideas about what we could do about the analog aspect of the color computer, because these do not support that. So you're out of luck if you want to attach a Atari mouse or an Amiga mouse or something like that. So that's where it gets tricky to have an all-in-one solution. We're going to have something done that's custom for the CoCo. But anyway, you can get these on Boys on Tech, and you can, wherever Paragon adapters are sold, boysontech.com. If you want to go to the next slide, though. So I've been very excited about this because I bought a Designer Imposter kind of Genesis controller when I got the Paragon adapter, and I'm already having problems with it, and the button is sticking, and it's clearly not up to the standards of the original Genesis controller. So when I saw on one of the YouTubers talking about the Sega licensed official controllers coming out, I was pretty excited about that, and the quality looks to be, very comparable to the original controllers that were released by Sony, as you might expect. If they're putting their logo on that. And so the USB ones are out already. You can order them on Amazon. The actual Genesis ones, though, that I would need for the CoCo are still not released.
Okay. Just real quick, too, you had mentioned something about the circuit board thing that Neil Blanchard's providing. It's basically a joystick adapter in a box. It's like in a project box, and it plugs into the back of the joystick port. So it's not designed for a repack or anything. It's just a different implementation of that.
I did not get mine with the box, so I just have a PCB board. So if I had the box, that's my opinion of how I would use it, because I have the plain board. So I never got the box for it. But it does also come with I think Neil can hook you up with a box, and so it could be a little bit more convenient because you could then set the box wherever you want, and you don't have to reach into the back of the CoCo.
Yeah.
So there are some definite advantages to the Neil Blanchard board or the Ed Snyder cartridge. So yeah, absolutely. Check them out. If anyone doesn't have any comments,
so these are coming soon. These are real Genesis controllers and made by Sega, or approved or certified by Sega. Either way.
And if that YouTube link, which other people can, I think we can share the link, or if I'll share the link on the chat, because this is a publicly facing.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a publicly facing Google slide deck. So I'll share it on the chat, and then people can click on that and actually watch the review of it.
Okay.
So here's where we get into a little bit of what will work and what won't work, because now we have access to this whole universe of new things, right? So I'm just waiting for the slide to update on YouTube here. One of the things that you've been talking about, Stevie, is, and we all suffer with, is this happened to me the other night. I was running the RS-DOS version of Come Guy, which uses port right, and then I loaded the OS9 version, and it said you've got to use port left. So that's just always fun when you've set everything up, and now you've got to start getting out the WD-40 and lubricating the DIN ports to start swapping things around. There are many switching options for the DB9 connector. I have not tested this. That's why I'm asking the question. And we can discuss it with Richard. I think it's a little bit pricey, but I think I probably will end up picking it up to test it myself. But basically, you plug whatever you want in. For the CoCo, it's going to only have to be joysticks. You can buy a case in whatever color you want there at the bottom, and you hit that little button, that little gray button, to swap right and left.
Okay.
So,
that's handy.
If you enjoy using the Genesis controllers or using the controllers that use that port, and you wanted to make it even more functional, this is something. Assuming that we can get it certified by the technical brain trust of CoCo World, or somebody can physically test it, this could be a good solution. So if you want to go to the next slide. So now it starts to get really interesting. What if you could do the same port switching that I was just talking about? You could also do it with wireless controllers. So this is a Commodore 64 Nunchuck 64. If you hit hold a certain button down, it will swap the right and left joysticks for you, and it will also work with the conventional Wii adapters as well as the mini SNES adapters. So you could, assuming you like those controllers, because I think you have to use either one of those, you could, set up everything and then have a big party in your living room playing Popstar Pilot without any wires.
So theoretically, we could have 2 wireless digital sticks connected to the CoCo. Right. And on top of that, if we needed to switch the left and right orientation, we could hold down a button and do that.
If you do a long hold on the button of the unit, the controller ports will be swapped.
Yeah.
And so, between, it's not going to attach right into the side like a Commodore 64. You're going to need one of the solutions we talked about on slide 1 to in between. Again, untested, we'll have to have Richard or somebody, comment on that, or I'll have to order it myself. It actually comes from it's an Australian production. It comes from Melbourne consolepros.com.
Oh, here, I got an idea for a name. Since you can press a button and switch left and right, how about we call it the switcheroo?
That's a great idea.
That's going to confuse them, right?
Actually, Ken's saying, I don't know if he's talking about this, waggling the sticks, but I don't know if he might have been referring to something from before. So anyway, just a kind of an option that's out there. If anyone gets around to testing it before me or wants to go to this link and check it out, I will provide that chat there. As soon as I get done talking, I'll provide the link in the chat. If you want to go to the next link,
I'll stick those in the show notes too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Can't see the slide update yet on YouTube.
Yeah, I see like a Wico controller and a box.
Oh, here we go.
Plugged into it or something.
So what if you didn't like those particular controllers? What if you just like your, whatever it is, you don't want to use the mini SNES or the Wii controllers with that particular Wi-Fi solution, but you want a Wi-Fi solution? Well, you can. There has been something developed for the Commodore 64 that will essentially let you use any 9-pin joystick you want wired. And then you can set your little transmitter box, in the back of the room if you want, and then hook up the joysticks to it. It has not been in stock. I don't know if they still make it anymore, but I do think this one's interesting to pull up, Stevie. I don't know if you can click on each of these links, if you could go in the links in order. I think this might be interesting to people, and certainly from tech standpoint.
Well, this one says it's a retired
project.
It does. It's sending you to Breadbox 64 blog wireless C64 joysticks.
Okay, so it may no longer be active, but
I'll try the next link.
Okay, well, the second link, you can see how they packed it inside of a Commodore, so it doesn't look like Paul Barton project.
mod of the year, huh?
I'm picking on Paul today.
Okay, so basically, what this is a third-party transmitter receiver combo where you can take any wired joystick and make it wireless, and it's designed for, we'll call it the Atari style joysticks. They use that 9-pin
style, and you can see somebody packed it into this ridiculous C64
So it's actually built into the computer, right? So this is called the bread. So it's breadbox64.com is the link. That's the website.
It's called the Joy-Fi.
And so this box here, okay, Joy-Fi, like a Wi-Fi joystick. Okay, so you plug a joystick into the box. This box transmits to a receiver that's plugged into the joystick ports on your computer, and poof, instant wireless joystick for any old. It's a retrofit. It's a Wi-Fi retrofit for any joystick to make it cordless.
So if you don't want to use one of these newfangled controllers, you can use the one that you always wanted to use, just from anywhere.
Okay.
And so, you know, if they do a re-release or do a new run of these, you know, it could be something that we could take advantage of. And again, just trying to make the work that Neil, Ed, and Richard have done be more useful and be able to do more things. And the fact that this is a very common port, there's a lot of stuff out there, probably more than I've even found so far. But you can see I'm asking the question now down at the bottom, what are we going to do about CoCo mice? So there is a version here of these solutions that I didn't show that also has a third port. You basically plug it into the Commodore 64's 9-pin, you know, very much like the previous couple of slides, and it has a third port for a PS2 mouse. Now that will not work with a color computer, that particular solution, because it doesn't do the whole voltage meter thing that the CoCo needs to do. So there is no option, you know, that's going to be already built that's going to allow you to basically, someone's going to have to build it that will allow you to plug your CoCo joysticks, your Atari Commodore joysticks, and a CoCo mouse in all to one thing, and that you'd be able to flip with a, you know, switcheroo to whichever one you wanted. There is nothing that exists, nor will it unless somebody builds it. So.
All right. Well, we've already got CoCo mice, so what we don't have is a variety of CoCo joysticks.
Yeah.
So, and this is more appealing.
For the mice thing with ease of use and all of that coming out is, you know, how do I avoid, you know, just the endless dance that I do on the back of the CoCo to, okay, now I want to run a ease of use, so I've got to unplug everything and bring out the mouse. You know, I'd rather have the mouse, my mice always there plugged in. And then when I run ease of use, I want to just hit a button and switch over to the mouse. So, you know, that's going to be a challenge.
Right. And actually, when we're addressing having to change a cable from the back of the CoCo, this is one thing where I actually like the Sega Joypad adapter that Retro Tinker, that's John and Neil, cheap Canadian labor. So with theirs, the cables are long enough where you can plug the CoCo side into the back of the CoCo, and then the box, the cords are long enough where you can have the box out front, in front of your CoCo, and then if you had to move the joystick from left to right, you don't have to reach back so far. Yeah. So
see, this is.
Yeah. So I don't know why you didn't get a box with yours. What'd you buy, the welfare version?
At the time, you didn't have it, or I can't remember. I might have bought this at CoCoFEST. So he didn't have. I can't remember if it was mail or.
Does that have the 3 connectors?
No,
is this the cost reduced model?
Reduced, yeah.
This is the cost reduced model. Okay. So the cost reduced model doesn't have the box, and it doesn't have the serial cable in there either. Then, right? The third connector.
No, I think this Radio Shack required him to make it cheaper than the previous. So that's why.
I think I've got a soundbite for that.
Yeah. Because they were cheap.
Okay.
That's the answer for every one of them.
Yeah. So this one.
This is Neil Blanchard.
Yeah. Well, Neil assembles them. I think John designed them. It says on the bottom there, Retro Tinker.
John.
So this is a John W. Linville design, and Neil.
February 2016. And got your CoCo 3 yet?
Assembled woohoo! Assembled with cheap Canadian labor.
That's similar to the adapter that Wicco used to sell to put Atari type joysticks on a CoCo.
Right. So that, I think that's one they called the cost reduction model. That I remember Neil talking about that once on one of the shows, but I never saw that. So you could do something. So I bought the one in the
something
box.
Interesting. The reason why what I had originally wanted to do, but I'm just, I shouldn't be doing anything serious with hardware, as Richard will tell you. But I had wanted to connect these somehow inside, like to the back of like internally with wires to the back.
Oh, so you want to do a hardware hack to put it inside your
you
case?
Speak my mumble.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and so so this actually would be kind of cool if you were doing a CoCo repack.
That's what I'm saying.
Where that form factor
would lend
itself
well to that.
Yeah.
You could also, if you're somebody who's very talented, you could figure out a way to mount it inside your CoCo and have it so that you could plug them in right into the case. If you could figure out how to wire it all in, which I'm not going to be able to do.
Yeah.
So that's work with any game.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That works.
So
an analog.
So I think what you're getting at here, Rob, if I may be so bold as to maybe try to assume the moral of the story, is, but since we have been given these CoCo to Atari adapters, and there seems to be a plethora of controllers that plug into this Atari style adapter and modern enhancement for those, theoretically we should be able to tap into all of them.
Yes, and I'm saying let's do that because I think these products come out and we go, oh, that's cute, and maybe I can plug the joystick into it, and okay, maybe I'll buy a Sega Genesis joystick, or I have one around the house, and we kind of put it away and go, okay, well that was great. I wonder what the next thing is that's going to come along. But the fact is, some of these products actually, it opens you up to a whole world of other add-ons that make them more useful. So that's really my only point.
Yeah.
And if I test some things out that work, I will. And I'm looking forward to getting an actual new Sega Genesis controller as soon as they come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Hardwired 9 pins.
Yes.
New construction. New build on the Sega style case. Yeah, I want to get my hands on those too. I love that style controller.
That'll work with regular
very
CoCo
cool
games.
stuff.
The one from John Linville.
I think they both work with most CoCo games. So I am particularly good with the Sega Genesis controller in Popstar Pilot. That's how I got halfway through level 5.
And but the CoCo PSG, no games support that right now, right? For the
you have to address it differently.
But it will handle those type of adapters, though.
Yeah, and I think John Linville's posting a comment here too. He's mentioning that his adapter takes advantage of more buttons, where his adapter will support 4 buttons on the Genesis joypads. Or he's not sure if the Paradigm supports 4 buttons or 1 or 2.
Paragon does not support only 2 buttons.
Okay.
So
right, and then with the serial cable, the joypad adapter actually would theoretically support 6 buttons with start and pause and stuff too.
Yeah, but of course.
But the software has to be written. The software has to be written to take
anything
advantage of that.
In the CoCo that even uses 2 buttons, so you'd have to write.
Oh
it
yeah,
down.
yeah. We're probably okay with 2 buttons. Yeah. Because anything with more buttons is going to require custom software anyways. So not that it's a bad thing, but any new feature needs to be manually implemented.
So I'm hoping that this will reignite some interest in these products once you know all the things you can do with them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, not only just an Atari adapter, not only just a Sega adapter, but wireless adapters and switch boxes where you can switch your joysticks between left and right, and joystick Wi-Fi retrofitting. Lots of cool stuff out there. That's cool. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Everyone, hold your nose and go look at some of the Commodore pages, because you might see some of this stuff. As painful as it is, those terrible 16 colors on that Commodore 64, but they do have. If you like purple and brown graphics, that's the computer for you.
There you go. Yeah. And we have a question on Facebook from ZX Renew saying, "Is this an American Dragon thing?" Yeah. So the CoCo is technically the American Dragon. We'll take that. Sure. Yes, we are family. We're the U.S. Relative of the UK Dragon. Absolutely, or the EU Dragon, right? Because the Dragon is in Spain and UK and all kinds of places, right? So yeah, we're definitely relatives
Except
to the dragon.
Our dragon has color. We have a dragon 3.
Yeah, and we don't spell color though. We spell it color. Now, yeah, and I thought there are some things to talk about now. Whereas the CoCo 2 seems, thanks to Ed Snyder, the CoCo 2 is becoming more and more like the CoCo 3. We'll probably talk about that. Was there anything else you wanted to add to your little joystick segment there?
That was pretty much it. The only other thing is kind of related is that I bought Alan Huffman's Wi-Fi solution for the CoCo at CoCoFEST last year. I'm finally getting around to playing with it now. Well, I will probably tonight. And what I did was I got a what I do with it. I got a Watt.
Are you going down on David Ladd? You just went down on David Ladd.
Hey, really?
He's smiling.
Hey, I just my setup just went away. David, I apologize, or you owe me money. I'm not sure which.
We're getting into After Dark, are we now?
Yeah. I would only do that if David was playing Predator at the same time, and then it'd be worth it. So I have a shit you can't see with the stupid background. Hold on, virtual background and off. Anyway, I didn't really need to show you this. It's a Wi-Fi adapter. a Y cable for serial.
Y cable.
You probably could have just told you that without showing it to you, but in any case, on one end I've got the drive wire connected, and the other one's going to go into my Amiga, and so I'm going to then connect both of those to the Alan Huffman Wi-Fi, and kind of have a 2-in-1 solution for either drive wire, or the Amiga has a drive wire type of solution called Amiga Explorer, where you can basically do the same thing and communicate with the Amiga. So I'm basically experimenting with the Alan Huffman devices for that. And Alan has his own website. If anyone's interested, you just Google Alan Huffman Wi-Fi, and you'll get right there.
Sub-Etha. There's Sub-Etha software too, right?
So those are my updates.
Very cool. Very cool. So that concludes. Whoops. Wrong button. Same color. I think this is the dump button here.
Oh.
There we go. That concludes another CoreDUMP Tech Dump right there.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, we got some news to talk about.
Nope, I'm done.
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
Stevie.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about some news. All right, so we got choices and commercials here. Let's see. We want CoCo Do? Do we want Forest of Doom? Do we want Switcheroo? Do we want a Wallaby cable? We haven't had a Wallaby commercial. Forest of Doom and Switcheroo. You guys want a double commercial?
Oh, yeah, Nick Marionets.
Ooh, do I have OS 9 in here? I do have OS 9. All right, so how about we're going to do this? We're going to do a Wallaby, or two back-to-back Australians. We're going to do a Wallaby and then an OS 9 commercial. So you guys got, and Bryza made it. Hey, Bryza. So you guys got plenty of time to tinkle if you need to. So we'll be back here.
Look at the Vegemite.
Love it.
Buy the Vegemite.
Love these freaking commercials that don't freaking run. All right, we're gonna try to scrap again. All right.
Hello, this is Grant Leighty with CoCoTALK. Got your CoCo 3 yet?
From the makers of the Switcheroo. Wallaby cable, Color Computer 3 dual RGB cable. Get yours today at cocoman.biz.
Fletcher, I don't need that report tomorrow.
Great, JT.
I need it tonight.
But JT...
Fletcher saved $300 on her office away from the office. Radio Shack's revolutionary Model 100 computer. It's a word processor, phone directory, and dialer. It even communicates with the office computer.
Fletcher, how's that report? Fletcher.
Radio Shack's Model 100. Save $300 and put it to work.
You'll go far, Fletcher. You'll go far.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
I love it when these stinking commercials don't.
Fletcher! Hi, it's Chris Boyle, part of the CoCoTALK crew of people.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble, co-author of Nitrous 9. You are listening to CoCoTALK Live, the leading live CoCoTALK show.
Good day, mates. This is Nick Marionettes, author of such color computer titles as Donut Disaster, Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot. And I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous operating system, OS 9. OS 9 and its current incarnation Nitrous 9 is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS 9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual. And yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS 9, I expect my next game, Funstar, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS 9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
Radio Shack has a great gift idea for the whole family. Fast action TV games, and they're on sale. Get this 6-game model for $29.95 or the 4-game model for $21.95. With rising entertainment costs, that's a real bargain. You play hockey, tennis, squash, and more. Easy to hook up and great family fun that lasts all year long. The sale price TV games. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
We're back for reals this time. Hey, Nick Marentes, you there? Do you notice what shirt Tony Pedrosa is wearing? Vice President of Glenside?
Good
T-shirt. So, nice shirt there. All right, so we have news to get to, but before we do that, since we have a person who's been on the panel. Hey, D. Bruce Moore, can you hear us? D. Bruce is here. D. Bruce is muted. All right, we have somebody in the panel who we have not heard from too much. We've heard from him in the live chat, but this is his first time on the panel. And he is also possibly somebody who will be helping us stream in the future as one of our backup streamers. It's Steege, right? Terry yep. Steege? Terry Steege. So Terry's here. So we're going to play This Is Your Life, Terry Steege. And you can tell us your backstory, what you did back in the day, what systems you had. And fast forward to today, what are you doing now for the retro hobby, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
So take it away, Terry.
I started pretty much with CoCo 1. My dad got me trying to keep me out of trouble more than anything, I think. Progressed over the years. Started kind of getting into the programming scene a little bit. I did start working at Radio Shack in, late 80s. I worked there for about 6 years. Ended up as an assistant manager. Kind of did mostly computer repairs and stuff, mostly the Tandy 1000 stuff at that point. Had a pretty good collection of TRS-80 stuff until I got some damage to a house and actually lost the whole room that had everything. So I've been slowly recovering that. I actually have all the Tandy or TRS-80 Model 1 clear through the 4. I have a Model 2, actually 2 of those. And then I've got quite a few CoCo 1s, CoCo 2s, and then I got into the CoCo 3s pretty late on. But that's pretty much what I've been up to lately anyway. Trying to get into some programming. I'd like to try to do a Unity type connection. I'm trying to look into doing that and see if I can do some 8-bit programming on that and port out over to the CoCo. So that's kind of where I'm at.
You're talking about the current Unity game engine thing that works
exactly.
on modern
It
systems?
actually has some plug-in capabilities.
Okay.
You can do some retro stuff on it. So I'm trying to kind of figure that out. And I'm probably about 8 months away from having something I could show anybody, but
okay. Very, very cool. So you have strong, the TRS-80 is strong with this one. You've got a good the Tandy history, right? TRS-80s, the Z80 line, and of course the CoCo line. Very cool. I also see some Star Wars stuff in the background there too. Are those the Marvel Comics version of Star Wars
I've
covers?
actually got all my original toys from the 70s, and I lucked out and had a package to open and a package to keep. So I've got a fairly large collection of those as well. But this is just in my bedroom here, so I got to keep the good computer close to me at night, so.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll go off on a tangent there because I'm a fan of the original Marvel Star Wars comic books too. But the original Star Wars movie that we now call Episode 4: A New Hope, when that's all we knew Star Wars was ever going to be, so that was broken into 6 issues, comic book style. So there was 1 through 6 Star Wars that told that story, and then starting with issue 7. They continued the story that was just all original works of fiction done by the Marvel writers. And in episode 7, they actually had Jabba the Hutt, who looked nothing like what Jabba the Hutt ended up looking like, but because it was mentioned, I owe Jabba the Hutt some money. And then in episode 7, there is a Jabba the Hutt character who stands on 2 legs. So that's little Marvel Star Wars geek trivia.
Did you ever see the extras on the DVD? They actually had the pictures of what the human version of Jabba looked like.
Oh,
and they,
I don't remember that. No,
they digitally put Han and made him jump over him in the back. It's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the guy was an actor. It was like a guy in a suit. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah. So you started off with TRS-80s and Tandys back in the day, and was there a time where you got rid of everything and had to start over, or do you still have some of your original stuff?
I was able to save quite a bit of my original stuff. I've got a collection of Markle like this. I have quite a bit of Apple stuff and Commodore stuff, but I mainly stayed with the TRS-80 just because I've got a lot of emotional ties to that with my dad and everything. So when I found your guys' site, it was kind of like, well, that's kind of cool. I'd like to get back into using it more, maybe, showing it to some of my my friends that are big into Apple. So I'd really like to kind of show them what a real computer's like. So, sorry, Mark.
No,
I want to make sure Mark heard that.
No, you haven't heard my story, but I only got into CoCos about 6 years ago. I bought an Apple IIe Platinum from a guy with a monitor and some software, and he had this CoCo 3 that he got for a correspondence course he never used, so it was new in box. And it's like, I'll take that off your hands.
Lucky.
What am I going to do with this? It's like, this has got the Motorola chip. I'm going to keep that. So no, the CoCo is a much better system than the Apple as far as just the bare hardware. Anyway,
very cool.
New in box, sweet.
It was. People commented last year at CoCoFEST. It's like, how'd you get that thing so nice looking? I said, it was new in box for 30 years.
Oh.
Right. What are you doing now, Terry, as far as what do you play on? It looks like you got a CoCo 3 with CM8 monitor there and a multi-pack and a floppy drive and all the accoutrements. So you play with real hardware?
I have a switcheroo on this as well, and I've got a double cable on it. So more or less want to keep the monitor for nostalgia, but I usually look at my 4K screen when I'm messing with it. Trying to get into the. I just
Very
got
cool,
the new CoCo DC. I really like that a lot. I've been using DriveWire for a while, but I really like this. Was it is it Ed? Ed, I believe, is who makes those. And the Zipster,
the Zipster.
So I've been liking that, and just been having a lot of fun. eBay's been. I think I do have a problem, so I just got one of the. What is
we
it?
don't talk about that here, though. It's the wrong show.
Yeah. This is not a support group.
That meets on Thursday nights.
No, is there a spouse support group? Because she needs to learn. I think some of these things are a necessity, but
we're working on that. Probably Tuesdays.
Tranquilizers.
So what do you do with your CoCos now? What's your go-to thing?
I've been trying to hunt down and find all my favorite games from when I was a kid, and I think I must have had some weird likes because I'm having a heck of a time finding them. But I did get an original copy of Shock Trooper by Mark Data Products on cassette. I actually found it over in a UK retro site. And then some Avalon Hill stuff. There's a game called not Shock Trooper. It just escaped me. Shoot, it was basically a precursor to like Wolfenstein. It was pretty cool. Yeah, they did do a lot of stuff, but it was an actual 3D, we'll say 3D style game. Other than that, I've been really enjoying going through all the archive and pulled out all my old Rainbow magazines and I don't know, starting to type some of that back in again. But I really enjoyed that. And I was glad to hear that the new Rainbow magazine was going to have some actual typable code in it. That I think that's important. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Hey Terry,
not this issue per se, but yeah, coming up.
Just if you want to type the programs back in, you're welcome to. The Rainbow on discs and cassettes are on the archive. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to.
There will actually be a typing in program in this first issue. I've actually written one for my article.
Oh, you did?
Nice.
I forgot.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Jim Gary had offered that there should be some type of contest to get a few people to play a few of his games at CoCoFEST, and he would sponsor a prize of some kind if we can get a high score competition on some Jim Gary MC10 games. That'd be kind of cool. Very, very cool. Well, and also you had offered to be one of our new streamers for the show. So when we have a technical emergency or I have my one bad day where I just wasn't mentally capable of doing the show, we have somebody to be able to press the button and stream it for us. And then you mentioned you're like, well, listen, and I thought you were just kind of pulling my leg because I was just like, all right, you're like, what do you need? I go, well, you need a decent internet speed and a decent PC. And you're like, well, I got an i9. I got a, GTX 1080. I got 3 4K screens. And I'm like, yeah, right. But I mean, have you...
3 4K screens. When's that enough?
So it sounds...
These eyes
so you've got 12K. You got 12K of resolution on your stuff. What are you doing with all of that? That's not CoCo related, I imagine. So
let me tell you.
On that 4K screen,
that cursor blinks so cool.
4-foot wide cursor.
He has a Cray supercomputer. He just wants to know if that'll be enough.
Oh God, I would love to. I would love one of those. No, you'll like this, Stevie. I'm huge into Ark, Survival Evolved. So I have a 5-year-old grandson that plays on it, and we have a lot of fun doing that together. So Grandpa needed a good couple of screens to watch email and play at the same time. So
there you go. Wow. So Neat. So yeah, I think between your internet and your PC rig, you've got more horsepower than the Pentagon and NASA combined. So I think we'll be good.
Well, like I said, anything I can do to help you guys, let me know. I think this is important to keep going, and you know, you yourself have got to be careful to get burnt out. That's not what anybody wants, because you've been the glue to this, and we all just want to help and keep it going and make it fun for not just us, but you have to have fun too with this, Steve. So.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, I didn't plan on not doing the show, but you know, you're hearing people saying, yeah, well, we were here, we were waiting, and you know, I didn't really get a chance to send out an announcement either to the public saying, hey, sorry, we can't have a show. It was, you know, it was all kind of last minute. But that time I couldn't do it, there were people there. It's like it's kind of become a tradition, you know. It really has. And even if we're not talking about anything, the tradition of getting together and talking about nothing is still a tradition, you know. And it's like, you know, it's just been, you know, well, we've kind of gotten into this bad habit of getting together every week and shit. What am I going to do this week? So
I think that's because, you know, it's important, the speed of the way things are developing and all the products being released and the software that's coming out, I think has a lot to do with the fact that we are always committed to having a show every single week. And so if we have backup people, then we won't have a lost weekend like we did, you know, last weekend. So,
yeah, that was the lost episode. That you know, it may show up at some point in time somewhere if it's ever unearthed. But actually, I should have numbered this one 102. And 101 could have been the lost episode. I missed that opportunity.
It's in a box in a big warehouse somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
It's one of those special semi-graphics disappeared mode.
Watch people going crazy trying to find episode 101.
We could have kept making reference to 101. We could have kept like saying, "Oh, remember back in episode 101? Go look at episode 101 for details."
Maybe he's buried in a landfill with those Atari cards.
All those answers.
Yeah.
The ET episode.
Yeah, the 256. Yeah, the 256 color mode, 2-layer graphics. All that was explained in episode 101.
The introduced marionettes and Fun Star.
Episode 101 was in the skip bins that were burning in the intro.
But so here's something funny. This is tying it all together, Terry. So when Dino Wars first came out, that was a 3D dinosaur game that ran in 4K. You are now running Ark Survival on a 4K screen.
There you go. There you go.
That's mind blown, right? So
and if you run Dino
mind blown
on a 4K screen, you almost can't see the pixels.
When I tried it, it had Pee Wee Herman chasing the guys in Jurassic Park. So, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I saw that in Discord. So, yeah, no, it's great. Like usually when I'm going out of town or something, we're able to plan the you know, the backup stream and the backup hosting and stuff. And the show, I mean, the show is all of us. The show is not any one person. And so I've actually enjoyed the times where if I wasn't on the show, like I remember one time I couldn't do it. I had another commitment or something, but I caught the tail end and I was actually sitting in my living room watching it on my TV. And it was kind of fun to be in the audience and like watching the show, because I don't get to see it from the other side of the screen very often. So that was kind of cool to be a viewer of the show. So yeah. Yeah. So I forgot. I had something. We had something going on. It was some event or something. So I missed hours. First hour of the show.
Episode? Could you actually watch the whole episode?
Oh,
okay.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
Wow.
I watched it till the end, but I missed the beginning. So no, it was cool. That was cool. So yeah, we look forward to having you and a few other people helping us be backup broadcasters and stuff. And definitely sounds like you got a good system to do that with.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is cool.
Yeah. And I know earlier Brian Wieseler was showing us his book collection. And I just want to use this as a segue and a tie-in to the CoCoFEST and the no minimum bid auction. That's a great place to get things. Most of the books I have. Every now and then, like I'll buy a CoCo, and it comes with a few books. You know, so I've gotten a handful of books that were just kind of bundled in eBay orders. But I've got a large collection of books I've gotten from the no minimum bid auction. A lot of I've got a couple volumes of the Rainbow Books of Adventures. You know, just a bunch of oddball things, like some of the manuals to things like Rakatu and Pyramid and Bedlam, and you know, sometimes you can just buy a big old pile of paper, and it's all kinds of books and all kinds of stuff for next to nothing. So obviously we all know about eBay, but for those of us who are planning on going to CoCoFEST on May the 4th, May 4th and 5th in Lombard, Illinois, make sure, you know, save some money for the CoCoFEST auction, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of books, and we'll be bidding against each other. And this is where the rivalries start to come in, right? So, but yeah, I've got some of those TRS-80 graphics, and I've got a handful of technical manuals. I've got 3 or 4 of the William Barden assembly language books, the kind of tan colored one, because it's just like, if you see it, especially if you get it for nothing, just get it, you know. So, you know, I've got a small collection of books, and I'll probably won't read most of them, but I just like having them. And the auction's a great place to get those, amongst other things like that too. So, yeah, Heavy Systems. By the way, Heavy Systems has been in the chat for a while, and I don't know who you are, Heavy Systems, but thanks for being here. And if you want to mention your real name, if you're not in the Witness Protection Program, feel free to do that. Another person in Facebook, Jen Jewell, says, I just got my 3rd copy of Ark. We were talking about Ark Survival, which is not a CoCo game. Had to have it for the Switch, which is the little Nintendo thing, and said terrible graphics on the Switch. Yeah, so yeah, Ark is something that will push a modern computer system to its limits graphically. So interesting.
Stevie, before I forget,
cool
the gentleman who's slightly younger than all of us, in his 30s, so he's like a CoCo kid. The CoCo kid who did the virtual reality stuff.
That is, yes. His name will come to me in just a second. Yeah.
But 2 weeks ago in the last CoCoTALK episode, he mentioned in chat that he has a new VR with, I believe it's Dungeons of Daggorath. I thought that's what he said, that he had hooked it up to Daggorath. So he was offering to demo it for us. So if you're listening out there, if you want to, you know, we can connect with him next week.
Right, I want to say his name is Drake.
Is it Ben?
Jake or Drake?
Ben.
Bendrix.
Ben Drakes. Ben Drakes. There you go. Ben Drakes. It was coming to me.
So he's got something new that he wants to demo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll definitely look forward to that. Yeah, I think I do remember.
He's here. Ben.
Is he here? Explorer VR. Ben Drakes. There he is. I am here. All right. Yeah, send us the link to the Daggorath, and we'll play it. Hopefully there's no copyright music, so I can do it with audio. If not, I'll have to mute it. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
okay, Steve Powell just joined us.
It's recorded.
All right. Well, yeah, if it's here, we'll go ahead and pull it up. So while we're waiting on that, I do have a couple of news items. Not a lot, because I had a very long day today. I didn't have time to prepare for the show. So I'll have a few news items to talk about. And since Curtis is not here, I'm going to pick a Curtis Boyle soundbite at random here. Woo! Rock out with your real-time clocks. All right. So where is my screen thing here? All right. So I was able to pull a handful of links from Facebook, my source of news. I don't go to CNN or even Fox for either of their fake newses. I get all my fake newses from Facebook. So Ian Maverick, the Mav, fellow Australian, probably a neighbor of Bryza, Nick, and David O'Connor. They could probably all throw boomerangs at each other and hit each other's back windows. So Ian is showing off. It looks like he's working on an RS-232 card. So just like sound cards and real-time clocks, there just aren't enough serial card options for the CoCo. But Ian has done a lot of reproductions. Like he's done a FD501 reproduction where you can buy it or have it as a kit. He's worked on a few things like that. So this is fine quality Australian labor. And I don't know all the specs on this, but it's going to be probably similar to the original Tandy RS-232 pack, right? A full-on UART, the whole 9 yards. So we will wait to see. I think it goes without saying that the things that Ian makes are really good quality. He does his homework, he researches things, and so this will be yet another CoCo offering. And so that was posted on Facebook.
RS-232 pack reproduction because he asked whether he needed to include the ROM with the COM program.
Ah, okay. And what was the ROM? Kind of like the video text program or some type of built-in terminal software?
But nobody ever used it, really.
Okay. So this is a pretty much pin-accurate reproduction of the original circuit board?
Yeah, he's looking for a volunteer who has a CoCo 3 in the original RS-232 pack to help him do some compatibility testing.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So for those who need an RS-232, looks like Terry's holding one up. For those who need an RS-232 pack, this might be a product offering on the way. Just know there's going to be a few other offerings. So like the Mega Mini MPI will have a couple of RS-232 ports. You can pigtail off of it. I think Jim Brain's working on something. There's a few options on the horizon. This will be another. But this will be a single-purpose card. I don't think there's a real-time clock. I don't think there's a sound chip. I don't think there's a K-cup maker in here. We're not going to brew any coffee, anything like that. So just straight-up old-fashioned RS-232 like your grandparents used to have, right? So looking good. Look for another product from the MAV. Now this one is apparently maybe stirring up some controversy with one or two of our Australian game developers, but Ed Snyder, and this is what I love here, he starts off by saying this. This is a fun exploratory project. So when you start off as saying like this, it's like, well, hey, I'm scratching my itch here. But what it looks like is he's saying he's going to get the CoCo VGA to possibly run VDG stuff at the double speed, which means you have to speed up memory and speed up the SAM or whatever it is, right? So, and that's a problem right now. Like the CoCo 3 can run in double speed, but the CoCo 2 can't because we lose the screen, and I think you lose memory refresh timing over time, right? So it's like not safe.
Or decouples the SAM from the rest of the system so that you can run the rest of the system with the double speed poke and still have the SAM run at single speed so that memory access stays the same. Decoupling the memory system from the rest of the system.
But it looks like he's been tinkering around to see, is this possible? And if it is possible, I think there's a follow-up video to this. It's what I think can happen is if you get the CoCo VGA, this will be updated to that to where you can run a CoCo 2 at double speed. Because you can run a CoCo 2 at CoCo 3 speed and not lose the screen.
Yeah.
And
I think
that's
good,
cool.
Especially a lot of things, whatever CoCo Max and software packages that are run slowly on a CoCo 2, they can now be sped up. I don't think it's really about new software development, which was Nick's point.
No. Right. So this is, but if you look how fast Arcanum is going on the thing, right? That's insane. Right. So because I remember there are certain games where Curtis has recommended, hey, if you're going to play this game, do it on a CoCo 3 and a double speed poke, like Marble Madness, and a few things like that. So there's a couple of CoCo 2 games that really benefit from there. They almost become playable when you run them at double speed, right? So I think it's a cool feature, and and then but I think Nick had some commentary on here. I don't know if you want to clarify that, Nick, but Nick's basically saying, look, this is not a standard. And nobody's saying it is, because I think he started off by saying, listen, this is an experiment. Can it even be done? And if it is done, all it's doing is giving a CoCo 2 the ability to run faster without its screen screwing up. I don't see that as a problem. But what were some of your thoughts on that, Nick, if you want to expand on that, Nick Marentes?
Just I'm wondering who's going to support the software, really, because you're not going to find... I think it'll create some problems, like with the games. They might be too fast. I think he mentions in there that the vertical, the interrupts also happen too fast or whatever. There's a few things that may not work correctly with it, but overall, it's a good hardware
Okay.
muck around project, but I don't think people should think, oh, now I can run all these really good fast CoCo 3 like programs on my CoCo 1 and 2. Well, yeah, okay, let's wait and see if that really happens.
Yeah, but I honestly, at the end of the day, if we can get proper double speed, the 65497 poke, if we can get that working reliably on a CoCo 2, that's a win, because you get a speed boost to all your old software. As long as it's stable and it doesn't crash anything, the fact you can run a CoCo 2 twice as fast, it's a very nice upgrade to CoCo 2 owners.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I did a test. I think I posted it last week, comparing the CoCo 1 6x495 poke with the 6x497 on the CoCo 3. And there was probably a 30% difference. The difference wasn't as great as I thought it would be. It's about 30% faster on the CoCo 3, but it's still worthwhile, and it is noticeable. So to be able to do that on the CoCo 1 will be pretty cool. That's
right. And like any other feature, nobody's going to force you to turn it on. If it's there and you don't use it, you don't have to use it. If this is only going to benefit people who are buying the CoCo VGA. So if you're buying the CoCo VGA, you already bought it because it fits a need that you have. So if there's a product you bought for your own reason, if somebody just added a new feature to that product, that's not a bad thing, and you don't have to take advantage of the feature. I honestly, this would be kind of cool for me, because I am looking forward to making a version of Cosmic Aliens for the CoCo VGA, and if I can get a true double speed out of that and it's faster, that's a win-win for me. And yes, it would be an exclusive product for this hardware device, but if the feature's there, why not take advantage?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Even with my project with the modular synthesizers too, controlling them from my original CoCo 1. Being able to run it at the 6x497 poke, the timing is everything with analog synthesizers, especially step sequences using music.
Right.
So if that can run at the 6x497 speed, everything is going to be a lot tighter timing-wise, and it will make a difference.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll have to wait and see how this progresses. I think this was the first video, and there might have been a follow-up video. But, Ed Snyder's always cooking something in his laboratory there. So I don't...
If you end up using that on a CoCo 2, anything that uses the bit banger port, like printing or drive wire, TTL, or, I don't know, anything that, a modem, anything on the serial port, you'll have to adjust your poke, your Boyle poke to account for double speed.
Right. And so you're basically mentioning all the things that I give 0 Fs about. But, I hear what you're saying. There are people who do
because
out of the
it speeds up everything. And the thing is, any software that is tied into the interrupts or it needs a very precise time, like what you were saying there about it's synchronizing to synthesizers there, that may not work because the timing will go completely out as soon as you increase the speed. I mean, certain software has been written for the speed of the CoCo 1 and 2 using the CoCo 1 and 2 interrupts. Well, according to Ed, the interrupts, you don't have a 60 hertz interrupt anymore. You've got a 120 hertz interrupt because it doubles that as well. And that means that type of software may be a problem. Yeah. So
okay.
And
things that we're using.
Games,
so
everything will, yeah.
Yeah, and that may or may not be the intended result. Like you might want the game to process faster, but you might not want some of the other timing to be faster too, because that could have undesired results.
I guess with the interrupt running at double the speed, you can have half the pulse width for that interrupt, and certain logic chips that are hanging off the externally from the CoCo may not respond reliably to that. I guess that I can see that being
it's yet to all be proven properly, I suppose. Yeah.
Sure. But it looks like right now he's scratching an itch and testing a theory to see if it's going to work. But I think it sounds cool, and you know, listen, it's like if it's a feature and you have the ability to turn it on and use it if you want to, and we're able to do it, then why the hell not, right? So no, it's cool though. We'll have to wait and see. We'll move on from that then if we're good with that. So I did want to talk about this because we were all talking about this I think the other day, and so Alan Huffman posted this picture where somebody did this is I think from Mad Magazine. And so they took all of the kind of celebrity endorsements for the various computer systems.
It was the cover of one of the Color Computer magazines. Yeah.
Oh, was it Color Computer? Because it looked like Mad Magazine.
Well, maybe they had the same artist, but it's off.
Yeah, it is the artist.
Same artist.
CoCo magazine.
Okay. So I was able to identify just about everybody. The one that really screwed me was, I guess that's supposed to be Kirk, but to me he looked like Jim Garner from the Rockford Files. And it was like, if it wasn't for the stripes on his shirt, I wouldn't have known that that was Kirk. But so obviously we have Isaac Asimov here. That's our TRS-80 guy, Tandy guy. There's Charlie Chaplin, who was the PC Junior guy. So that's David, Dick Cavett. Dick Cavett. He was Apple, right? Alan Alda was Atari. So William Shatner was doing Commodore PET stuff. I don't know if he did 664 stuff too, or just Commodore PET. Vic 20. Oh, was it Vic 20? Yeah. And then what was Bill Cosby? Who was TI? TI and Jello Pudding. That guy was just getting endorsements on Jello Pudding and your TI 99. It's so good.
Yeah,
so yeah, he was getting endorsements out the wazoo. This is Bill Cosby talking to you about Rufinals. So good. So I thought that was a cool picture, and I think more than one person looked at that guy there and said, "Hey, is that freaking James Garner?" Because it does not look like William Shatner.
Yeah, they need Bill Bixby in there for the Tandy stuff.
Yeah. This might have been before then. Might have been before Bill Bixby took over.
He did a lot of the Tandy 1000 ads.
Yeah, Tandy, 1000, 2000, 3000 stuff. So this might have been a few years before that. Yeah. But that's really that's a major snapshot of history right there, this character, you know. All those guys. Celebrity endorsements. You know, who did we have later on as far as celebrity endorsements that were endorsing computers? I mean, I can't even... The only one that comes to mind right now was that dude. Like, dude, you're getting a Dell. Like, it was Steve from Dell. I can't even think of, like, celebrities getting behind a brand name. Well, and then you had, like, I'm a PC, I'm a Mac. You know, you had those commercials, but it wasn't like, you know, hey, this is, you know... William Shatner for Dell Computers. I don't remember, when's the last name brand celebrity you guys can think of after the 8-bit systems? Oh, well, he did that whole infomercial for that Next Step system or whatever it was called. Yeah. What else? Who is that? That's the cover. What magazine is that from, Brian? Hot Cocoa. Wow. That's a good cover they got for Hot Cocoa there.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know that many celebrities that I can think of, even like in the 90s, that were hawking a particular computer system.
They made training videos with celebrities. I saw one for Windows 95 with Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston from Friends.
Oh, wow. That's funny. Well, yeah, Windows 95. Yeah, Windows 95 had a pretty big launch. There was a lot of media. Yeah, the Start Me Up with the Rolling Stones was like the theme for that. Yeah, neat. So yeah, that brought back some memories of all these different guys. And think about it, would you buy a computer just because you were a fan of frickin' Hawkeye from MASH? You know, oh, Hawkeye's using that computer, should I buy that one too? I mean, what's going through these people's minds that it's like, dude, I'm going to buy this system based on the face on TV,
though.
you know?
I mean, you know, you're looking for any way to stand out. So if you got, you know, James T. Kirk.
Yeah, James T. Kirk. This computer has got so much power. Just
you can understand like someone like Kirk though, is perfect for that role because Star Trek's, you know, right down our alley.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. And think about it. Like, frickin' look at Charlie Chaplin in the background. He's not even facing everybody, right? So the Tramp, that character, the Tramp, you know. So I mean, that was IBM PC Junior's whole thing. Is let's get some douchebag, dress him up like Charlie Chaplin to try to sell our computers. I mean, that was this is wrong on so many levels. Obviously, didn't strike any chords with anybody. Yeah, so Charlie Chaplin's facing the wrong way. Dick Cavett. Yeah. Interesting, right? Yeah, here's another one from Ed Snyder. I guess it's the same thing, different update to that, so I guess we don't have to worry about that. But we do have our very own David O'Connor. Speaking of real-time clocks, the burning new hot hardware product that everybody's got to have. I need a real-time clock to update my real-time clock. So you've got a post here, David, and I'm not even going to pretend to understand what you're talking about here. Do you want me to pull up this picture?
Yeah, the picture's probably going to make it a little easier to talk about what I'm talking about. So.
It looks like a cryogenic chamber here or something. I don't know what's going on.
I'm not seeing the picture on my screen.
Oh, I have to switch screens here. Let me switch back to news. Sorry about that.
I'm waiting for the CoCo version.
I have too many.
I lost you.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So here's a picture of God knows what. This looks like a laboratory. This looks like there's a kidney diffusion unit going on here. I don't know what's going on. So
yeah, what we're looking at there is the mother of all real-time clocks, quite literally. It's every real-time clock on the planet is synchronized to a reference standard. And it just so happens that a friend of mine invented that clock. What we're looking at there is two cryogenically cooled sapphire crystal microwave oscillators. The world's most precise clock source. They're accurate to plus or minus 1 second every 40 million years. There's one of them literally controlling the Geneva World Time Server.
Wow. So they don't have to be wound. You don't have to wind this one too often, right? Only every 40 million years you get a wind.
Yeah. Maybe top it up with some new liquid helium. Yeah. it actually runs on liquid helium, which boils at minus 270 degrees Celsius. So it's operating literally about 3.4 degrees above absolute zero. In 2015, I had the exciting opportunity to actually work on that project. And Australia is updating our what they call over-the-horizon border radar protection system, which basically scans our horizons, or over the horizon, hence the name, for slow-moving ships and slow-moving aircraft and whatnot. And this clock is part of an upgrade for it. Basically, the more accurate your clock source is, the slower and finer detail you can detect from a longer distance. So my role in the project was to build a frequency synthesizer divider unit to provide an output from that clock to link up to the radar system. And in 2018, last year, it won a prestigious science award in Australia. They're called the Eureka Science Awards for outstanding service to our national security. And that Eureka Science Award is pretty much the Logie or the Grammy of the science world in Australia. It was pretty exciting, and I just figured with everybody talking about real-time clocks and whatnot, I'd post up there the device that is literally synchronizing everybody's real-time clocks.
Wow. So this is like Skynet.
Pretty much, yeah. It's
You can tell about Skynet and stuff.
Yeah, this one won't come and destroy you though. It's
give them a chance and I'll do it.
Freeze.
Yeah.
Stevie, I did post the link to the Dungeons of Daggorath in the YouTube chat.
Okay, yeah, and Ben Drakes may have posted his too, unless he didn't have permission. Okay, so we'll run that. Did you pre-listen to the music to make sure it wasn't copyrighted?
It's only gonna it should only have the actual sounds to the game. I can't imagine. I'll do a quick listen.
We'll run that in a minute. Okay. All right. Oh, that's cool.
That's very cool. Minus 270 degrees cool.
Yeah. So here's the world's minus 270 degrees.
Yep.
Minus,
3 degrees above absolute zero.
So,
I think Ron Delvaux.
What's the website here? osdisciples.com. Is that one of your websites?
Yeah, that's one of my websites. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Ben says there's no copyright music in it. Okay, so we'll be able to watch that.
Sound effects.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's neat. And yeah, so we're still looking forward to seeing some real time. And as a matter of fact, speaking of real time clocks, I think that's the tech segment on this month's CoCo Crew. I'm so far behind with work and everything else that I know the CoCo Crew has dropped. There is a new episode. I believe I did skim the description. I don't think I've looked at the show notes yet, but I believe I remember reading the description of one of the Facebook posts that there is a tech segment talking about a real-time clock. So there's your little segue to promote this month's CoCo Crew. We did look at these Commodore adapters, so that's good. Let's go ahead and pull up the YouTube video. Our friend of the show, Ben Drakes. This is a Commodore Amiga commercial. Okay. Also, somebody mentioned in the live chat that Jeff Goldblum was a spokesman for Apple for a while. I do remember that. I remember when the color iMacs, remember when the iMac was still based on a CRT, and you can get them in like tangerine and grape and all these like funky blueberry colors and stuff. I remember Jeff Goldblum saying, why do you want a PC that's got that manila envelope color? Like who eats vanilla? There's no flavor to vanilla. You got to have color in your computer.
There's actually an Apple ad with what was his name? He did Dances with Wolves. Kevin Costner.
Okay. So who put the link to the YouTube video? Is that in the Zoom chat or is it in the CoCo chat?
Nick Marentes
in the YouTube chat.
CoCo chat. It's in the YouTube.
Is it? Nick Marentes. He just posted it there. Okay, so let's see. If
we
can
also
get
it's the nickel minimum bid option, not the no bid option.
No, I keep getting.
Yeah, that was regarding when we were talking about celebrities promoting computers. That was one that we found. But yeah, that's not a CoCo. Well, you can play it if you want.
I'll repost
okay.
it. Hold on.
Yeah.
In the
astronauts?
Buzz Aldrin, Gordon Cooper, Scott Carpenter.
There.
We like to compare notes with Stevie.
Buzz Aldrin.
Hello?
Hi, Tommy Lasorda for Stevie.
Hey, what's up? Just a question about moving Randolph to the number 2 position. Yeah, second, and this'll work. It's perfect.
Hi. Hey.
We're the Pointer Sisters. Stevie's expecting us.
Well, come in.
We need help with our new album.
Burt Bacharach, Little Richard.
The Amiga. Color, sound, graphics,
Little Richard.
power. At a price to make it truly the computer for the creative mind.
Wow. We got everybody in there.
Well, what do you want it to do?
Tommy Lasorda, huh?
Mr. O'Neill. Stevie is upstairs, but it's kind of crowded. Would you like some fried chicken while you're waiting?
Amiga from Commodore, the computer for the creative mind.
I guarantee Tommy Lasorda cannot
Wow.
use an Amiga.
Yeah, I just threw that up there because we were talking about celebrities, and that was one I remembered.
That's a good one.
Never saw that.
Oh, John Cleese for Compaq. Cool. Here's one. John Cleese for Compaq. Yeah. That reminds me, he did a commercial where he was comparing this commercial to fish. Well, we're going to compare this commercial to a fish, right? Or this computer to a fish. I kind of remember that one too, yeah. So,
Hello. I'd like to tell you about Compaq's new Portable 2 computer. It's such a marvelous machine that it would be quite unfair to compare it with another computer. So, we've decided to compare it with this fish. Now, the fish weighs 22 pounds, which makes it extremely portable. It will fit snugly on the passenger seat of your car or when traveling by train on the luggage rack. By coincidence, the computer weighs exactly the same. So, nothing to choose between them so far. But how much can they remember?
22-pound computer. It's portable.
Has a memory of 4.1 megabytes. A fair old number of megabytes, as I'm sure you'll agree. The fish, on the other hand, can't remember a thing. Hardly surprising, really, because it's stone dead. I expect he could give you a megabyte.
John, please.
bet you've been wondering just how much IBM software this fish can run. The answer, I'm afraid, none. The compact portable 2, however, can run...
Okay, we get the idea here. All right. Has anybody found the link to the YouTube video for the...
Yes, I reposted it
for the
YouTube.
For the
you
video.
can see it's 4 lines back.
In the YouTube, so now I got to switch screens again. So there we go, YouTube.com. Here we go.
Enter the dungeons of Daggorath.
Here we go. So he's putting on. How do you work the keyboard, Ben? We got to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, he's stepping forward. Okay, he's tracking. Oh, so he moved his foot to the right and it turned right. Oh, now he's backing up. Damn snake. All right, I'm not sure what he did to kill the snake there. But he's actually walking in the dungeons of Daggorath. He's walking on the trackpad, on the, what do they call those things?
Spider?
It's a spider. Listen, if you don't have to do the frickin' keyboard, this game becomes actually playable, right? You just walk around and point and click. Isn't that what they try to do with Thoragad?
He's got basically macros through something called an X pattern that run when he, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool that you can watch him walking there on the treadmill, where he's walking as he's walking through the dungeon. Yeah.
It's a
Shoot him! Get out your frickin'... Get your damn snake zapping gun and shoot his ass. Uh-oh. Gonna have a heart attack there, Ben. Don't have a heart attack. You know, it's like even if you just did a joystick interface to Daggorath where you could like turn and move and just press the fire buttons to attack, the game would be... Is that cheating at that point? Because isn't that half the challenge is beating on the keyboard and not getting your ass kicked while you're trying to type 50 times ahead of the game?
Not too bad on the delay. A little bit of it.
No. That's neat how it's all synchronized too, you know?
It's spiking his heartbeat though.
What's this running on?
Yeah, just kind of. This is a virtual reality rig that he works with this company, and he's figured out a way to retrofit this to run on a bunch of different CoCo games. I think the first one he did was Phantom Slayer, the challenge game.
This is dedicated hardware, but it's running CoCo.
Yeah, yeah, but it's doing it in an emulator, and then he's got some type of device that maps it to the keyboards. Yeah, I think he did, Nick Marentes. Nick, did he do your Gate Crasher? Yeah. Ah, see, we got the TA. Turn right, attack right. Yeah. Yeah, this is the problem with a real keyboard too. You get these freaking finger flutzes when you try to type in the game.
Go back to CoCoTALK episode 87 and we have an interview with Ben Drakes in the VR Phantom Slayer.
Yeah. For reference. Yeah, it's cool. It's a whole new way to play the game. You know what I mean? You know, if you can actually walk in the game.
Sometimes you need an excuse just to get back into it, and this is a good one.
Yeah, and you know, you actually get exercise while you're playing this game, so you're not just sitting on a couch.
You can get your step counter completed.
Yeah, yeah. Just tie this into your
Fitbit.
If that's running an emulator, it'd be really cool to actually build a hardware interface to interface it with a real CoCo.
There is a guy who
it would absolutely. Oh, he got a.
There's a guy who built a Bluetooth keyboard interface who showed it at CoCoFEST last year. I was trying to remember his name.
Yeah, that was David Gackey.
Yeah, David Gackey.
Price for this setup.
Oh, he's giving a fist pump.
Oh, this is. I don't know what the cost of this is, but this is designed for like PC esport gaming type stuff.
This would be cool at home. I could imagine. I could see myself doing this. Quest of Zelda and stuff like this would be perfect for it.
I don't think this is even consumer available. I think they take these things to like shows where people can come and see them at malls and stuff to do them. I'm not sure that this is probably for the amusement industry where you can come to a.
Yeah, I think so. The current market is amusement industry.
He says it's surprisingly not that claustrophobic, perhaps due to the lack of textures. Yeah, because you got to imagine if you're looking at this through a headset, you know, how does that limit your vision? And this one's in stereo. I can hear it in stereo, so this has got to be the PC port of it, because on the CoCo you wouldn't hear things in different speakers.
Unless you use the OPL3 chip.
Yeah, that's really neat. Now, obviously, anybody listening to this later on with the podcast has no idea what the guy's doing, but we're watching him turn around and walk on a treadmill and, you know, walk and turn and point and click and stuff. It's pretty cool. And there's a snake. Shoot it! Shoot that damn snake. Looks like he's pointing a gun, yeah. Okay, so he's responding to you, David. He says, not at the moment. It's not going to be easy to interface with real hardware. But there's some type of like... I forgot what it's called, the XPad interface or something that allows you to map to keyboard equivalents that are good for emulators. So you take the output of the VR into this box that then sends it as either keyboard or joystick things to an emulator. So it's easy. It's as easiest to interface that way right now.
You know what game I'd like to see with that?
But
it's a CoCo 3 one. It's Iron Forest or Medieval Madness. The phaser gun ones that Diacon brought out years ago.
Oh, where you could actually point the gun too while you're in the game. Yeah. Send a link to Ben. He's Explore VR. I think Ben's in the Dragon group. He's probably in the CoCo group too. Ben Drakes. Send him a link to the game that you're talking about. I'm sure he'll find a way to test it out. Yeah. Uh-oh, you might have just bought the farm there. Shaking the head.
Yet another does not return.
That's good. Almost sounded like Bruce Moore there for a second. Nice. Thanks, cool. Ben. Thanks for that. That was good. Good quality entertainment there. Another does not return. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Was there anything else in the news I needed to cover? I don't think so. We got to the real-time clock. Yeah, like I said, I did not have a lot of time to prepare before the show today, but somehow we're now going on 3 hours of show with no preparation, so I guess that's not too bad. Cool. All right. Well, what have we not talked about now, boys and girls?
I've got a couple of quick little side things. If we're talking about robots earlier on interfacing with the CoCo. I think we were at the start of the show we were talking about that. This little beastie here. This one of my designs, sort of designed in the early 80s. It's got a broken wheel at the moment on one side, broken axle, but they're basically, this thing can navigate its way around, and it's got little bumpers and sensors and stuff on it that it can navigate. But the reason I got this out is because that socket there, you can see there's no actual IC in that socket. That was designed to connect to my CoCo, and I could put a pen in it and program it and make it, run around the floor and draw a pattern.
Oh, kind of like Color Robot Battle, where you could tell it where to go and what to do, or Turtle graphics.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, very similar idea to that. So
yeah.
So yeah, just thought when that was mentioned earlier on, I just happened to be going through cleaning out some stuff last night, and that was sitting in one of the boxes that I cleaned out. So yeah, that was a little hardware project I had interfaced with the CoCo in the early '80s.
All you have to do is add a vacuum to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make one of those little Zumbas, right? Little room robots, the Zumbas.
Yeah. No, I've been thinking about getting it going again. I'll have to find another, repair that axle with a broken wheel. But aside from that, no reason why it shouldn't. So,
yeah, that ties into that book that Brian Wieseler was showing us, how to interface your TRS-80 with things, right?
Yeah,
interface projects.
That's why I was particularly interested in that book. Looking at different ways that people do things. It's always good to get inspiration for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like also for the project with the modular synthesizer. That's as we all know, I've been working on this thing, trying to get it running for the last month or so, and I hope to have it up and running, but the power supply has been the big hold up, and that's almost finished. That's the power supply as it is now.
Is that a flux capacitor there? That's a huge freaking coil. That's
a big. This here is a big toroidal transformer. It's a 160 watt transformer. This will power the whole wall behind me, basically.
Is that one autographed by Nikola Tesla? I mean, it looks like something he would
almost.
use,
It's sort of But no, that's it's all built on Vero board there. That's the regulator circuit, and that's a repurposed ETI 480 amplifier power supply. In the late 70s.
It looks like a can of cola there. That capacitor, I think, is as big as a beer can, man. That black thing down there.
The main filter caps. Yeah. This thing is.
That needs to be recapped.
I'd be advised to discharge it on your tongue.
The bare wires that are there, that's what's got to be finished off. There's not much to do. I've just got to connect the power transistors basically to the regulator board. And but I like to tend to over-engineer stuff when I design something. So that thing there is it will easily run the whole wall of synthesizers and anything I can expand it to.
You've got to scale down.
Yeah.
It's the age of technology. Everything's smaller.
Now, is this UL rated?
I don't know. I don't really care. No. There is a real-time clock in that synthesizer. So right there. And I mentioned that. What's up?
It should be built into that big massive monstrosity you got there.
Well, this thing here will have an output to run the real-time clock. It actually will. It's going to have What's up?
It's not scaled down. It's actually quite big.
Yeah, it is. It's like I said. I want to build it so this. Put too many screws in the bottom of it just to make sure it doesn't fall apart. And so it's very near completion, and I'm really hoping this time to have it finished by next week, and I should be able to have that modular up and running.
Okay.
And, maybe even have a little test program written or something to do an output out of the OPL chip from the Mega Mini MPI and see if I can actually talking to the modular.
Have you watched that Sheldon?
You know what?
Sheldon, or what they call it, that show?
Oh, Sheldon or whatever.
I can picture him doing that with all the bloody battery of the nuclear reactor shit that comes in the smoke detectors. I could picture him making his own little reactor in that room.
Wow.
Nuclear power running everything.
Yeah, a bit of what do they call it? Thorium power.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if we could have the color robot back where people built their own robots and you had to program them with the CoCo and then put them in an arena and make them fight. Right. Yeah. So we have battle bots, but they have to be programmed by a CoCo. So. You configure your offense and defense modes, you put them in the ring, and there can be only one robot will leave.
You can do it all wirelessly too, with all this the wireless interfaces that have been talked about earlier on.
Yeah,
and people sitting there with the CoCos in, on the sidelines and controlling.
Oh yeah, you got to tweak the code in your robot. Oh man, I gotta tweak my code here. I gotta send some new instructions over to it, right? So
that'd be
kind of
cool.
Cool
There'd
stuff.
be only one
cool
champion.
Stuff.
You know who that would be anyway. That'd be Softness. If he ever done that, we got no chance against his brain.
Simon Jonasson, maybe too, and Nick Marentes. A few things have come out of that brain of his. He might have a chance. So
Ed and Brendan be a bit of a force to reckon with too.
Yeah. Cool. Oh yeah, and did we correct it to that it's not a no minimum bid auction. It starts off as at a nickel. So it's at least a nickel minimum bid. So you can't get it for nothing, but you might get it for a nickel. I'd buy that for $1. So we got that going for us. But yeah, there's always something good, deals to be had at your CoCoFEST. Cool. What else have we not talked about, gentlemen? Anything you guys want to talk about?
Yeah.
I had an update on the Rainbow. Just an update on the Rainbow magazine. So Ron has got some stuff together for me to preview. Bunch of pages together, over 40 of them at the moment. But anyway, a few comments, but we're getting stuff put together, so we should have something shortly. Oh, and I did register another domain name because Stevie let the other one elapse. So we know.
I didn't let it elapse. What happened was a porn company reached out to me and made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
There we go.
And so the rainbow.online became, I don't know what it was, but yeah, so as soon as I let that thing go. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but like the day after that domain lapsed, it became an adult website. How you go from Rainbow Online to adult website, I'm not sure, but they
anyway, I registered a new one called rainbow.online.
Anyway, changing the subject.
Anyway, new website, the new Rainbow Online.
The new Rainbow.online.
It just currently has WordPress. Yeah, it should. So it depends on how fast DNS propagates. I only set it up today, so my DNS.
This site can be reached.
Well, your DNS is not updated yet. So
THENEWRAINBOW.com. .com or .live?
.online.
What is it?
Yeah. No,
.online. Oh, .online. Okay. The new Rainbow.online. There we go. Welcome to the new Rainbow.online. That's why the .com was not working. Yep. And you've changed the graphic to say the Color Computer Quarterly magazine.
That's Ron's.
So is that the plan?
That's Ron's graphic. Quarterly? Yeah, that's the plan. So I already put a call out to everybody. Okay. Next things are due the end of April. Next articles. So.
Better get skates on, eh?
All right. I was planning on doing something about the original real-time clock. Did you know that it's in Australia and it's watching the borders and it's watching for low-flying stuff? It's pretty cool. You had to do an article on that.
I'm going to be off, guys.
Good stuff.
All right.
All right, Nick.
See you
Thanks for being here. Was there anything you wanted to share with us? Any updates? Anybody else's projects you want to piss on before we go? Or are you good for now? Or?
I'll find one.
You'll find.
I believe Ed Snyder is going to a therapist now. So,
the mechanical keyboard hasn't come out yet, is it?
Yeah. Nick, we're not going to get anything new if you keep shitting.
I know, Nick. He's so used to popping balloons, he's bursting everybody's bubbles now too. When they have hopes and dreams, he's just up there in his plane shooting them all down.
And to think we were that close to the Gimme X being released this week.
Yeah.
Set us back for 6 months. Yeah. Set us back 6 months.
Yeah.
All right.
We love you, Nick.
I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. Good morning.
Bye, Nick.
Hey, Stevie, do you have one of the, what do you call, CoCo SDC images installed on your SDC?
The one that has like CoCo2 games-C2 and games-C3.
Just the standard
Is that
image that you can down, VHD or whatever, you install from the archive.
No, it's not from an archive. It was I got mine a long time ago when it came with a SD card with stuff on it. So that's what you
could download a collection of stuff from the Color Computer archive. Next week I can show you, because I had this thought that wouldn't it be great? I mean, as much as I love the semi-graphics interface for the SDC Explorer, and it works on all different computers, and it works pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with it. What would it look like if there was a high-res solution for the Color Computer 3? Well, it turns out, of course, Sockmaster already had that thought, and he created a under Sockmaster in demos on the image for the SDC that you can download from the archive. There's a DSK called Sockmaster in demos, and if you go in there and you do 640 demo. I don't know the exact title of it, but it's something like 640 demo. It shows you a 640 by 225 CoCo SDC Explorer, essentially. And the purpose of this was to demo his high-res joystick interface, software-based. So
okay.
But he's obviously created something that that would be amazing on a CoCo 3, and you could of course have it auto boot to that. If you wanted to have something that was a little fancier than the SDC Explorer, but
yeah, and I don't disagree that visually that would be an amazing thing to have. However, I don't know if operationally opening up that RAM would not screw up being able to launch certain programs. But
correct.
I don't
so
know,
that is obviously the concern. But if Sockmaster is going in that direction, then maybe he's the one that can always do the impossible.
He's got a way to maybe yeah. Because the nice thing about it being all text-based, it's real easy to clear that code out of RAM before you launch your software with minimal overhead to what you're going to execute, I guess. So I don't know that would be a problem, but I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'm smart enough to be concerned, but to not know if it actually is a concern.
Could be a concern, but if you get it working, then you could do things on the CoCo that you wouldn't have to take the SD card out, put it in your PC if you want to move, drag and drop and do some things that normally you really can't do right now. So if we could, figure out if that's a possibility sometime in the future, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So basically kind of a GUI version of a nice high-res GUI version of the CoCo SDC Explorer. Now we're starting to get into like what were those things called? Like the BIOS. There was a couple of the GEM. There was a couple of graphical desktops that just ran on top of your
TOS,
actual operating system.
Workbench.
Yeah. So that'd be interesting, right? We start to now enter into the OS 9 territory minus the multitasking, as far as having like a GUI based OS launcher.
If it makes it more useful, then it would be a good thing.
Ease of use.
BIOS. Yeah. Hey, that's a OS I haven't heard about for years. That was a pretty cool OS actually, BIOS. I've still got the discs for it somewhere. The floppy and the.
Was that an old version of Linux? Wasn't it?
No,
BIOS
it was actually. From what I understood, it was separate to Linux. It was. I don't know whether it was based on it or not, but it was. No, apparently, it was its own. Yeah.
Okay.
Apple was looking at BIOS when they were looking for a new OS, I believe, and then they settled on Next.
It was particularly good for music, which is the reason I got interested in it. But nobody ever wrote drivers for it. None of the hardware companies ever wrote supported it. That's what killed it.
Google Haiku.
Okay. Right. I think Tony says he's leaving us. Tony Pedraza, thank you for being here. We always appreciate you having. We enjoy having you here. We appreciate you taking the time to join us.
It's been fun.
Thank you, sir. And I'm looking forward to CoCoFEST. We're not too far away from CoCoFEST.
About 40 days.
40 days away.
Yep, 40 days and 40 nights.
Just remember to bring your Millennium Falcon, because it will be on May the 4th.
That's right. The only thing I'm concerned about with is if I bring my drum set, will there be room for it in front of Brian's setup there? Because I looked at the floor plan. I can't really tell. I'm going to send you guys measurements.
I told you.
I'm not sure I can even fit it in my car.
I already told you.
I know you said we'll make room. Yes, I know. I want to measure it just so you know. And also, I got to see if I can even fit this in my little car or if I need to rent a car, because this thing is huge. This drum is much bigger than I thought it was going to be when I bought it. So. Yes.
David.
CoCoFEST After Dark?
Yes.
You're always after dark somewhere.
David, Google an OS called Haiku.
Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks for being here.
Oh. So, David, Haiku is an open source re-implementation of VEOS.
Okay, what's it called?
Haiku.
Haiku, like the Japanese poetry.
Is it an active development?
It's an active project.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They just entered beta 1. They're out of the
wow.
and they're in beta 1.
Oh, that's really interesting. So it hasn't died after all.
No.
Wow.
No, I have under my desk my old VEOS box and my power computing Mac. My Power Mac runs VEOS also.
Thank you for adding the Vegemite in the background, David. I just added Vegemite to my ground turkey.
Yeah.
Others were posting Vegemite in there too. I thought, I've got to join in that. So it's been all over Facebook.
If you play Popstar Pilot and you can't get to level 2, you take the Vegemite and you smear it all over the CD.
That really is the secret. Is Vegemite to winning Popstar Pilot.
This turkey tastes too good. What can I do to it? Oh, Vegemite.
No, dude,
what can I do to make it taste
smoky,
like salty shite?
Salt. Smoky salt.
So is this in the Popstar Pilot handbook or something?
It's like somebody put salt in a turd and lit it on fire.
No, it's not. It's not the fault of Vegemite that it's the color of you know what.
That's called flambé.
This is
turd flambé.
There we got it. Let's
no smell of it.
There it is.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I guess I should be holding up my jar here too, since we're all Vegemiting out here. So
what's the expiration date on your jar?
It never expires.
I don't know.
2008.
I never have to worry about expiration dates on mine.
Yeah,
on air, Stevie.
I don't think there's.
Did you try Vegemite on air? Or am I imagining things? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I did. When I got Brian Joyce sent me this. I'm trying to see is there an expiration date on here?
But put it in something that you like. I know that you like and you want salt in.
Yeah. So now there's a song on the back, and I don't know the medley to this song, but it says "We are happy little Vegemites."
Yeah, I know the one. We all grew up with that song.
Yeah. As bright as bright can be.
I've got both a jar of Vegemite, which you can't see, and a jar of Marmite.
Yeah, let's not bring up Marmite. I got a sore spot with Marmite will make you dream of Vegemite.
Go to YouTube and type in the Vegemite song, and you'll get it. It's on there.
Okay, there you go.
Although you might not want to do it on the show.
I will do that, but I won't do it now because I'd be afraid to get a copyright strike.
Marmite is like a French version of Vegemite.
How do you enter SBC with multiple game discs? How do you put the next disc in?
We went through this. You have to. We actually did a live Discord tech support with Bruce Moore the other night and helping him. So are you using the CoCo SDC? Yeah. So if you use CoCo SDC Explorer, I think it's Shift M to mount the actual folder that all the discs are in. And once you mount the folder and you launch the first disk, you can just tap the button on the side of the SDC to switch
your disk
disks.
images have to be sequentially numbered, so it knows what you're.
Yeah, they also have to be sequentially named, so it has to be like games dash games disk 1, games dash 2.
Well, there's action.
I like that the guy who plays the ukulele is telling me about taste.
Is this where you put in the irony hashtag?
Let me show you.
Well,
let me demonstrate something with Vegemite here.
Oh.
Are you gonna eat that shit? You're gonna do a fingerful of. Yeah, fingerful of Vegemite.
And Vegemite the same way.
That's like you're a true Australian.
Yeah.
His fingers do not start smoking.
Here, since we had a request for ukulele, I've got a Nick Marotta video here of some ukulele. I'm gonna try this one again. Here we go.
You are watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly video podcast, featuring the Tandy Color Computer. We spread the love to the past, present, and future for all models, including the original color computer, the CoCo 3, and the world-renowned exclusive French-Canadian CoCo 2.
Now you want to play this when you and your lady are getting busy.
Oh yeah. You're watching CoCoTALK on a ukulele.
That's cool.
And the CoCoDo, that's the CoCoDo theme song right there. Like, you can just play anything over that CoCoDo theme song. It's just like the universal. It's a universal groove that just fits
Nick,
all
can
moods.
you do a reenactment of every commercial we have, like the JT and Fletcher on ukulele?
Ding a ding a ding a ding, Fletcher. I don't need that report today. Ding a ding, I need it tonight. But JT, ding a ding a ding a ding. Who else was abused by JT? Hashtag me too.
This is my son's new math tutor.
Oh yeah, what's Elliot doing? Ding a ding a ding a ding a ding. He's playing Super Pinball.
Elliot's learning about inches with his new math tutor. I don't know.
Heaven help you if you're on a Texas Instrument.
Oh Lord! Hey, Ben Drake says I have to tap out. It's 5 a.m. Thanks for being here, Ben Drakes. Thanks for I'm blah, blah, blah.
Ben used to be known as
use
Jen,
my words right now either. Yeah. All right. So what do we say? Have we beat this show to death? Is there anything else we want to talk about? Anything we didn't? We missed a whole week of show. So
I did have one question. CoCoFEST.
Yeah.
Has anybody done, or has anybody considered doing a CoCoTALK from CoCoFEST?
Well,
we talked about doing that last year, and it's just there's so many things going on. It's really hard to, so we had talked about it. There was a lot of random live streaming from laptops and phones and stuff, but like a coordinated CoCoTALK, I'm not sure.
What if that was one of the round
It's not a bad idea.
Kind of a panel,
well, they did that. They did the CoCo Crew did that last year. They had a CoCo Crew roundtable.
What about a crossover episode?
I'm not opposed to it.
CoCoTALK all on one stage.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I think at one point in time we did have a time slot open. But I said, look, I'm more than willing to give up that time slot if you need it for, anybody of any importance. So I think we actually had something penciled in where we could have had one, but I was like, listen, we don't need to hog up the airwaves. We hog it. We get enough airtime as it is. So it's not a bad idea. If it's not official, maybe just an impromptu one. What I really wanted to do last year is I wanted to get us together for a group photo and this and that and the other. But there was just so much going on. It doesn't seem like it, but in 2 days there's so much to do and so many people to talk to that it's really hard to get anything done. And my biggest regret was always like not spending enough time here or there because, I used to live stream everything. So I spent all the time stuck behind the laptop and I never got to hang out in the exhibit room. So like last year I tried to hang out more in the exhibit room, but you can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, fair enough,
so it's a challenge, but no, it's a good idea.
The thing that made me think about it. The thing that made me think about it was, for those who are in different countries like Australia, and even for those in America who can't get to it, who've never been to a CoCoFEST,
I think the best chance we'd have of doing that would be like after CoCoFEST is over, we end up hanging out in the lobby of the hotel and sometimes till 3 in the morning and later, and maybe just putting a laptop in the lobby there might work. I don't know.
Maybe Stevie, you just record whatever you can record and then splice it all together, after the event because.
Yeah. What I'm not going to try to do this year is I'm not going to try to be the streamer of the event. I've done that. I've done a few events for a few years, and you just lose out. So as much as I would like to broadcast it for everyone else's convenience, I'm going to be selfish and not try to stream the entire event this year. I just want to be at the event, and I'll try to take as much coverage as I can with a handheld camera or my phones. But I want to experience it and not.
That's fair enough too. Yeah,
I'm always losing. Yeah, I always lose
totally
more than
get that.
So
one person can stream it whenever they feel inspired as well.
Well, there's enough of us. Yeah, there's enough. Like we did pretty well with things like Tandy Assembly and VCF Midwest, where we had people like Jason and Grant and stuff, and they all brought us a piece of it. So we could probably do. There's enough of us there with phones and other things where we could probably do that.
Yeah, I suppose you're going to have a heap of footage there anyway, and even to compile something together later. Even to spread it over 2 shows after 2 CoCo Talks after CoCoFEST. You have plenty of material there.
Yeah. But that's a good suggestion. We'll try to squeeze some in. Terry, you saying you got to go,
guys? Sorry.
All right, hey, listen, thanks for joining us. We look forward to having you on again, and as we all get caught up, I definitely want to, myself or Tom or somebody, as we pass the torch, getting people set up with their OBS. Hopefully, other people can help other people too. Like once we get Rob set up, maybe Rob can help get a few people set up and so on. So we got limited resources and limited bandwidth right now, but I want to make sure I don't drop the ball again. So I want to stay on top of everybody and get you guys going as soon as we can. My work schedule, it makes it very tough for me right now. I'm working 3 jobs at once, or not at once, but back to back. So I don't have a lot of time during the week.
Only 3 jobs,
and then weekends.
What was that?
Yeah, tree. I'm like a Jamaican. I'm doing tree teams over there. So
whatever I can do to help, guys. Again, thanks again. And, we'll see you next week. I hope.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it. All right, Terry.
Good night, guys.
Anytime, man. Anytime. We expect Vegemite like next week, though.
Oh dear.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Mine's gonna have a big M on it. Some fries.
It's McVegemite.
What is that, McVegemite?
McVegemite.
a quarter pound scoop of it.
Oh dear, man. Good night, guys.
All right, take care, Terry. It's getting past all of us old folks' bedtime.
Terry will be back next week with his i11 Intel processor.
His
i11, it's still midnight.
Right, It is. It's not quite midnight for me yet. It's still midnight. Yeah, the clock. The real-time clock says it's 12 o'clock.
It's only 8:41. I'm ready for the West Coast edition. Come on.
Yeah. Just right.
It's must not be tied in. I must not be tied into that Australian master clock. That my real-time
that's the time
off,
it is over here. It's just before 2:15 on Sunday afternoon over here.
Oh, okay.
So we're in tomorrow.
Wow.
You're in the future
for you guys. Yeah.
So is the future bright?
I got a couple of big metal halide lights above me. It's very bright here.
Are you asking if he's wearing shades?
I'm not actually, but I should be.
And David, my long-term goal, I don't know how I'm going to get to it, but I want to try to get the latest version of Ultimuse set up for you in a kind of ease-of-use format with everything kind of plug and play, so I can send you a VHD that you can just load into your SDC and launch it. So I'm curious what you could do with that software. But it is right now it's a pain in the ass to set up. So I'm trying to figure it out as a sort of semi-literate OS 9 person to then send to you. So give me a few months.
Yeah, I've actually never used OS 9 myself. So
yeah, so I'm trying to I'd like to put a OS 9 care package together for you, being a new CoCo 3 user.
Oh, okay. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, we got a request to stream Fortnite. Should we stop what we're doing and start playing Fortnite right now? Somebody on Twitch right now says, please stream
Stevie,
Fortnite.
we could do, I see you broadcasting other games, and I do try to keep, I don't comment in the chat. Occasionally I jump in because I feel like you need some kind of separation from the craziness of CoCo world. But we might want to think about, maybe we could do some team building in some other games where we actually jump on from time to time. We already mentioned Arc Evolved.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't particularly.
Yeah, we had a handful of us playing Minecraft at one point in time. I think Mark Overholzer was playing and David Ladd was. So there are a few modern games that us CoCoNets all could play together. It's not a bad idea.
Like Left 4 Dead.
Minecraft,
something we can just blow up a bunch of stuff together, I think, and release some tension.
Yeah. That's been my escape, has been playing Assassin's Creed, where I just get to run around and take out my frustrations on non-living humans. Yeah, cool. All right, so we're going to wrap it up?
Yeah, my Vegemite, it's time to wrap it up. My Vegemite's getting warm because it's been sitting on that 512K of RAM.
It means it's easy to spread now.
Listen, I want to thank you guys for everything, for being part of this all the time, every week, for being here, and everybody who watches. I want to thank everybody. And it wasn't. I didn't like the fact that we couldn't have a show, but it just happened last week. We're gonna try to prevent that from happening, but it is. I mean, again, like we've spent almost 4 hours talking about. I don't even remember what we talked about. So. It's just become this thing where we get together and hang out, and it's been fun, and we should continue this. And it's good because of the company, So we got good company, we have good times, we hang out here for a couple hours and have fun, and I enjoy it. And I want to thank you guys for making this fun for me, and hopefully everybody else who enjoys it too. And hopefully we can keep on doing this. So thanks.
Here. Absolutely.
Sure. Great.
Thank you, everyone.
And especially for the ukulele. Thank you, Nick Marotta, for the ukulele. That has been just keeping me going every time I'm down, and I just feel like I'm gonna tap out. I just listen to that bright ukulele, and it just lifts
Stevie,
my
I believe
spirits.
it's what's called a game changer.
I'm bracing myself. Keep going to see how this.
No, I'm just saying.
It always starts out positive.
The brightness of the ukulele.
Yanks it off the rails.
Well,
I enjoy it. I like playing, and I don't care. Screw you guys.
I like it too. I enjoyed it. Thank you for the CoCo Do theme song. It's good. It's beautiful. It's bright. It's upbeat.
You can order it on
everything.
CD-ROM, where it comes with a free noose.
Someone had to go there, didn't they?
Wow. Oh man!
You got to learn
All right.
the CoCoTALK theme song so you can play us in one time.
Play us in and play us out. To play us out. Are you? Have you got your ukulele with us? You want to play some outro music for us, Nick?
What do you want to hear?
All right. Nick Marotta's going to just play some music, and I'll do the outro as you're playing.
Okay. Well, let me switch mics.
All right.
Because it works better through my webcam mic.
Everything's better through a webcam.
You hear that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. All right. This has been another episode of CoCoTALK. Thank you for watching. Tonight we've had on the show Mark Overholzer, David O'Connor, on the ukulele Nicholas Marotta, Brian the Music Man Shoebring, Mark Bosley, Bryza, Brian Wieseler, Rob Inman, Al Hartman from Jersey, and so many more. We want to remind you that you can catch CoCoTALK on CoCoTalk.live. You can send us an email feedback to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live. Let's not forget our sponsors like Cloud9 Technologies at cloud9tech.com and Boyson Technologies at BOYSON-tech.com. What about our favorite troll, Jim Brain, at Retro Innovations at go4retro.com, and so many, many more. This show would be nothing without ukulele, and I can just sit here and talk over this ukulele forever.
And if you're
this is
thinking
awesome.
about
Matter of fact,
please call the following hotline.
Yeah, ukulele sounds good.
You can't think about suicide when a ukulele's playing.
Great, Mark.
It does. Yes. So this has been a production of CoCoTALK Incorporated. Copyright 2019, all rights reserved. No unauthorized duplication or rebroadcast was possible without express written permission from your congressman.
Major League Baseball.
And yeah, in the Major League Baseball League. This episode was brought to you by Real Time Clocks.
Someone give that damn cat some water.
Yes, somebody. This is a somebody get that damn cat some water production.
Right, and thank you.
Oh, I'm much happier breaking stuff.
David Ladd. MC10.
Oh.
That's in this.
OG Stevie
It's almost in the same key.
All right. Good job, Nick Marotta. All right. We're gonna pull the brakes on the train here. Thank you all for being here. I'm gonna press the button. This is the sound of me hanging up.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Gracie.
All right.
We're
We're hanging up.
old.
Hanging up in
No,
3,
you hang up.
2.